What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? How y'all been? How y'all been? Whew, I finally have awakened just a little bit. Awakened, y'all. Went out yesterday, so was tired. I was tired. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is great to see you guys. Hello, hello, and hello. Hello, beautiful mods. What's going on? Yes, happy Sunday. Even though I'm getting ready to probably lay it back down. Did that whole cooking thing and the cleaning thing, and I just wanted to touch on a few things, not even that many, because I'm not even done highlighting a lot of what the last document for Mr. Kelly was. I'm not even done, but I've got a few highlighted points that can allow me to touch on a message that I believe was posted up and directed towards me. However, I did think I gave it a long thought. Yeah, you went live. I did. I did. I've been sitting down here working on some things anyway. I'm working on my printer, so got to re-download driver and the utilities, and that's taking forever. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just go live while I'm sitting here waiting on a new driver to come up, because some reason my freaking printer just stopped printing. It'll print out the sample paper, but it's not printing out other things that I need. So, and that takes a while. So while that's doing that in the background, I was like, I guess I'll come out in the front and say hello to everybody. I'm sorry about ladies' night, but sometimes when Pat ready to get dressed and go out, it be spontaneous. So I just kind of get dressed and go out. Don't forget to hit the like button, you guys, because yeah, I'm going to touch on a few things. First of all, let me pull up the message, right? I don't have my phone Bluetooth right now to share with you guys this message that was put out, okay? And keep in mind, you guys feel free to correct me in the chat, because a lot of this stuff pertaining to the statutes and the things that the government has used, it just doesn't stick with me if I'm not really, I guess, pressed by it. Like you see the other panels that indulges in this paperwork and then have their conversations on panels about who's right and who's wrong, or what I feel, and this is how it should be, and this is how it's going to go. Okay. I don't do that. I don't do it. I keep my sanity over here by indulging in this paperwork on a personal level, private level, and I decide, what my opinion wants to be, instead of expressing it amongst other people's to allow them to tap into my membrane about what their opinion may be, to try to influence or be influent or influencee to have you look at something that I don't want to look at. My mind is made up and it's free R. Kelly. I don't give a damn. Now, let me get this message so that I can read it to you guys, because as I was making my red beans and rice and my beef ribs today, y'all, some corn on the cob and some cornbread I made, and a little bit of salad, and then a small peach cobbler, right? I had that. I decided to throw that together too. It ain't the long route peach cobbler, but it is, it's a little short route, but it's good. So again, I'm glad to see you guys are here to hear me respond to the message. And for the most part, a lot of you guys pretty much know how I am, and I normally, don't. You understand? I really try to stay away from the old family reunion as opposed now, there's a new family reunion that actually nothing catches me by surprise, but still I was like, oh, okay, because I remember, back then, a lot of people stayed away from a lot of people for certain reasons, but the other night I was like, oh shit, this is a whole new I can't blah, 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 family reunion going on. Imagine that. Imagine that. So, anyways, wasn't my business. I clicked off of it and I was like, yeah, here we go. Here we go round in circles. Again, our feelings and your theory and your opinions may matter as a group, but in that courtroom that just showed up and showed out down there, that's where the real deal takes place at, not on YouTube. What's going on, Reba, Pernell, Claudine? I'm going to try to see if I get y'all all beautiful. Josetta, Kim, Shakira, pretty brown eyes, pretty brown eyes. I think you just got that name because when you say that name, people automatically sing that song. Miss Brown, sugar in the chat. What's going on? Butterflies in the chat. Queen E. Bree, perspective, right? So I also see peeped in. Hey, Empress Boo Boo. You girl, what's the longest part about the red beans and rice is the overnight setting for your beans. And then the whole method of sauteing so that you can get that Creole taste, right? Before you get your sausage and then you got to find the particular sausage that you absolutely love, because they have so many various type of sausage that you can put in there, but you have to find the one. Me, I'm a more, just the smoke regular sausage that goes in, whether if it's by, what was it, Farmsville or the other one. But baby, trying to get that sauteed vegetables, your celery and your red pepper and your green pepper and your, little garlic and all of that, trying to get that to that taste. Oh, you will be stirring and mixing and stirring and pouring and mixing and stirring until you be like, okay, that's the taste that I'm looking for. So that's the only thing that I hate about red beans and rice. It doesn't have an exact measurement to it. It's just pour, taste, pour, and you taste. Pour, add a little more of this and you taste. Add a little more of that and you taste it until you perfect it, So, but I got it done and it was really scrumptious. And the beef, the beef ribs, I let those boil for quite some time again with a whole bunch of your vegetables, celery, all of that stuff, red peppers and yada, yada, yada. And then I topped it off today, in the oven for about 15 minutes. And I definitely used the Lily barbecue sauce. Sad thing that happened, let me tell y'all. Yeah, why, as I was pouring, I got enough on the meat to put in the oven, but then somehow the rest of the sauce, yeah, I dropped the glass. I dropped it, it splattered, it burst everywhere. So at least I got half of it and I got the taste onto the ribs, right? But I lost half of a jar. So I was like, damn it, dang it, darn it, damn it, dang it, darn it. And let me get Teddy out the kitchen, right? Because Teddy like, you really got to wipe that up. I'm finna lick the hell out of that sauce. And so he got some of it up off the floor for me. So before I retire to bed, I have to go and mop the kitchen and then put up the food. And that's the worst thing ever about cooking. I love, I have leftovers and stuff because then that's my lunch for like a Monday and a Tuesday. But then once you get done, like, I don't want to put this stuff away. I don't want to, but it comes with the part of cooking. Now, let's get into this right away because I'm only going to be here pretty much as long as you guys want to be here. And don't think that I don't detect when y'all get bored in the chat. So then I'll bounce and I'll leave. Sylvia, I saw Sylvia's chat. Yeah, I don't know who said what and how they done said it, but apparently, I think that I spoke on some things too about these goddamn transcripts, but mine was specific. I ain't subliminal anything. I spoke on the fact that, and I put up a board for people to vote on, and you guys are hilarious on those votes, right? And y'all leave y'all comments. I promise y'all, because I mostly read them when I get home and I'm laying down, right? So let me check out the comments. Now, y'all are just as funny as I am, believe it or not. So, a lot of people voted on that. The Atmos team should go ahead and get the transcripts. So, everybody wants to see what was said in X, Y, and Z. Me, I voted, against it. I think that if there's quite a few people out here, including Jim Derrick Goddess, okay, with this whole Black culture and saving the young girls and things like that, I think that it would be a perfect thing for them to just take all the money and make sure that what's her name, RL is well taken care of for the rest of her life, since the judge saw it a little bit differently and denied her well-being to be taken care of by Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, along with the other young lady, which was that Pauline? We're going to get into that. And the other young lady, who I guess apparently must have went and sought out or had been seeking professional help or counseling or whatever, for her to have the amount that she was seeking for get reduced down to $42,000. Okay. There's a reason why that judge did that. And I think it's because he used his humane common sense. Okay. And I'll try to explain that in the best way that I can, in my opinion, based off of how us women, oh, it was Pauline got the 42. Wait a minute, because I'm reading this now. I got all this paperwork in front of me. Pauline, Nia. You sure it's not Nia? Pauline. Nia and RL got 0. Right. Mia got 500,000. RL got 0. Correct? Now, am I correct? If I have to go back and look at that paperwork. Okay. Now, and those are the two ladies that, and I will have just my brief opinions on, according to the detailing that is in the last hefty document that went out, which was the government's sentencing memorandum. Yeah, Nia. And RL got nothing. Okay, Pauline got 42,000, Mia got the 500,000, and Nia, I'm repeating what you put up. Nia got the 500,000 and RL ended up 0-handed. Okay, so let me start here. And I'm going to read you guys, I guess, a rebuttal that came back somewhere out of the blue in my name from Drunkin Larry. Okay. He goes on to say, Pap. That's what I thought. I'm like, you okay, you confusing me, because I'm like, I know I read it, but did I read it wrong? So I believe that it was Nia, and RL ended up with 0, and Pauline was the 42,000, which I think that hers, she was asking for a whole lot more, but ended up getting reduced down. And she only received that because the judge gave the benefit of the doubt that she did apparently seek some type of counseling or help, help with whatever she had claimed that she was going through. So you say, you said she got peed on in the courtroom and shit on. Okay, let me read you guys this. Okay, and this is how I'm just going to respond to it. You know, like I say, the best way that I know how, and a lot of it with the common sense. I literally try to sometimes to understand what a person is doing. You literally have to put yourselves in that person's shoes, and then you have to rerun like this whole play. As I'm reading this whole government sentencing memorandum, I couldn't help but to notice that they kept talking about 2008, 1991 this, 1996 this, mentioning the master's bedroom, where we all know that at some point in time, Drea X Kelly also was living there as well. So I kind of had questions about it. Oh, that's my receipt. Okay. So hi T Lynn Boop. Hey Tia, what's going on? And thank you, Tia, for that clarification. So we got it right. 2 zeros and 142,000. PAP, we didn't get into this for victims to receive money. I'm going to stop that right there, right? I think that, in my opinion, a lot of people are aware of that, Drunken Larry. However, everyone knows that when there is a federal or state trial in a situation like this, everyone knows that the trial comes first and then the money comes second. Doesn't make sense at all for anyone to start any trial out by saying that, yeah, we're only here to get the money. No, doesn't work that way. So, but whatever you're trying to imply here, we didn't get into this for victims to receive money. However, the victims that you guys come out to support, were the ones that did come forward to look for monetization from Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. And on top of that, I believe that the main one, your witness RL, had already once pursued some type of silver suit, let alone her dad, who I believe they call Brandon in the newspaper, also was receiving quite a bit of money, all documented allegedly from Daryl McDavid. And I just behooves me on the type of relationship that maybe her RL and the dad might have had for RL to come back years later and continue to hit Robert Kelly up in his pockets to help pay some freaking rent. That doesn't look good. It sends a very definition out about her parents. They were they? They know they wasn't around to help pay for her rent when she's reaching out to R. Kelly for her rent. We're going to talk about that because this is a person who stood in the courtroom in front of Judge Lennon Weber or her attorneys, High Capricorn, to describe to Judge Lennon Weber that this female has been distraught, has been terrorized or harassed or coerced or induced, right? But yet then years had went by and she was still reaching out to Mr. Kelly to help with some rent. That's not a scared person, but wait until we get into the reason why and who manipulated who. From what I'm reading, Drunken Larry, RL turned around and manipulated R. Kelly to get him to pay her rent when RL now is an adult and could have easily not never talked to R. Kelly a day in her life after this acquittal trial in 2008. But she, in my opinion, kind of did the same thing of what Lisa Van Allen did. You couldn't leave him alone. She comes back, for manipulating him. Well, if you don't pay my rent, then I'm going to have to do X, Y, and Z to you. That doesn't make that a good person either. She's not a good person. Hi, Steph. So you said it is unprecedented for a victim to receive money in a criminal case. Unprecedented. Let alone that disrespects a judge's court and not appear before the convicted defendant. Let me redo that one. Hi, Shakira. What you say? She was humping on that man, girl. Humping, rolling it, rocking it, sweating it, throwing it to the back. It is unprecedented for a victim to receive money in a criminal case, let alone that disrespects a judge court and not appear before the convicted defendant. Well, that was his opinion. He said that if RL wants money, then she can sue his labels and distributions from 2000 to 2008. Now, I'm not going to make that an argument with Drunkin Larry because I don't know if that's factual or not. But what I will say that it's funny how he can come up with that solution for RL here in 2021. But yet then RL knows is related to an artist. What is her name? Sparkle. I don't know what's her real name, Stephanie something, right? Sparkle. So we're in 2021, Drunkin Larry. Wouldn't you think that Sparkle would know that? And just maybe somewhere around 2009, right after the trial, 10, 11, 12, that maybe Sparkle then would have said, you know what? Go after his label. Now, I ain't saying that what you're saying is factual or not, because I don't know if that's factual, and I don't know if that is another way of going after, Sonia, whatever, when I believe, the word on the curb, and this is allegedly, that Mr. Kelly is also in pursuit of his label, of his royalties and all of that. Now, I am under the impression to receive the full promising of your work that you must complete, I believe, like a 30-year, what is it? I know it's 2023. That's my point. My point was, wait a minute though, 30 years. I could have sworn that, Mr. Kelly always says that he's given them his 30 years. I don't know if he was at his 30 years or not, but I remember when, was it Anita Baker and a few others, were able to show or had the same argument that they were not getting their royalties or whatever when they've met their 30th year anniversary to receive. So I can't say whether that's factual or not, because I'm not aware if Mr. Kelly is at year 29 and a half or 28 and a half. I don't know. Mr. Kelly says that I gave you 30 years, but truth be told, none of us seen contracts or anything in pursuit of Sony with R. Kelly. At least, I have. So I can't speak on that, right? Now, you said that it's 2023. So let me explain what I just said about that, because Drunkin Larry says that she can sue his labels and distribution from 2000 through 2008. First of all, I want to say this. Sometimes, no, most of the time, there is a cap on things that you can do to a person. 2000, that would be almost 20 something years later. I don't know. She may not be able to sue them drunken Larry. She just may be outside of the cap to be able to sue somebody on behalf of, what you're imposing that she probably, could have done. So what I mean by that, Hill, is we're in 2023. She has an aunt by the name of Sparkle. She has a whole bunch of other people that's pretty much probably, good out there in the industry. This is something that could have been proposed to her back in 2009, 2010, 2011. But you want to impose this in 2023. And I understand why, because you feel that, RL, according to the paperwork, was this minor, and that Mr. Kelly owes her for the rest of his life, as with her being a minor. However, in this paperwork that I'm reading, I do read a lot of the repetitiveness about she was a minor. What I don't read a lot in this paperwork is the fact that there was the penetration part of it, drunken Larry. She does talk about it when she turned of a different certain age. Then there was possibly some penetration, but the majority of these paragraphs, when they speak about Jane, they speak about Jane in her threesomes. They speak about Mr. Kelly, of course, using the word enticing, and indulged her, to sex another female, not him. So with Jane, and how your side of the family, drunken Larry, likes to call Mr. Kelly this P word, right? I was thinking to myself, well, if he was such a monster and he was this way, and I know you'll probably come back to say that he was grooming them. He was grooming them. At 14 years old and already probably, and getting ready to head to high school and stuff like that at 15, there is a whole lot of high school sex talk going on. And we are not blind at 14. A lot of it, we see it. We see the boyfriend, girlfriends walking to school, hugged up, curled up, all of that stuff in the car. So she wasn't blind to anything about being introduced to, let's just say, sexual encounters at all, not at that age. But, that's just my opinion. So that's what I have to say about you feeling that in 2023, that RL, should come out and sue the record labels. Because now, because you have given a lot of advice out here about what these girls should and should not do. And somehow you seem to think that she actually has the juice and the power now to go up against Sony. You actually think that there's going to be possibly an attorney that she's just going to pick up a pro bono and base this off the fact that, we think that we can win this. You sound like Jim Derogatis at this point when you mentioned that, because Jim Derogatis did the exact same thing, where he declares that he feels that, the Black girls needed help. So he was part of this whole entourage with pushing these Black girls out here and not even knowing the definite outcome of the situation. And now these Black girls that you guys care so much about are now left empty-handed for the most part of it, right? Double empty-handed because of the people that they allow to use them as a freaking crutch, right, Drunken Larry? Because last I checked, I don't think that you are in any position to say it's okay, RL. We kind of knew that it might have played out like this, but guess what? We got your back over here. Where's your $1 million to hand in her pocket, since you did a lot of influential talking out here on the YouTube street? Where is Jim Derrick Goddess, who helped push this whole freaking story out here, knowing that some of these Black girls that he spoke of was going to get a slap in the face? Huh? Nobody has picked up the slack of what the law helped Judge Lennon Weber with on his decision on this case. She shouldn't be crying at all. Yeah, she got the Section 8, but is that enough? Is that really enough? Hey, Scorpio, I'm just saying, Drunken Larry, I'm one of those sisters that if you're gonna stand behind them and you're gonna be influential about pushing them out here into this world where all eyes are on them due to a choice, it's I'm gonna call it mutual choice between her, some other ladies, females, and a man. A lot of us out here on the Team Kel side, especially me, yeah, I can look at it like, oh, he was an older man, 20 what? He was in his 20s when he met these young ladies. I'm almost willing to bet you $1, Drunken Larry, that if Mr. Kelly was 56 back in the day that they met him, Jane, I'm willing to bet you they wouldn't have gave him the time of the day. But back then, when they met him, they looked at him as a young man, because a young man is exactly what he was. He wasn't 56. Now, in your eyes, you may think, oh, that 26 and that 27 or that 30, that's a little bit too old. But yet then, as I read this paperwork, Brandon took quite a few paychecks from old, what's his name? I just forgot it. From Durham McDavid, right? So everything was okay. Everything was okay. It wasn't until the public got into this situation that tore this down. The parents thought that it was absolutely okay. And for them to come back to say that, oh, well, the pressure was applied on us, and we were scared to say this and we were scared to say that. Not in this type of year, maybe in 1960, maybe even in the 50s, maybe early 70s. But now, no. The money was good, in my opinion. So I feel like this, whatever you was rocking with then, you just keep on rocking with it now. That's just how I felt, Drunken Larry. Either way, you said either way, justice was served. I not going to agree with that at all, because once there is statement saying that an appeal will be in progress, it is not over. Justice has not been entirely served. It's only been half served, not entirely. Jennifer Bonjean has paperwork in stating that she will be filing on her appeals. So before I move on from that, I just want to stop you right here, because I see a whole lot of gloating. And I think that you said something in this paragraph about it, how none of your people on that side or something, but I'll get to that because Atmos did put it up. And I saw it. And Atmos, I'm not going to quote him verbatim, okay? Because I'm not going to go back and look at it right now. But he says something in a sense that, no, when he gets done with the 30, or if he, let me rephrase that, Drunken Larry. If R. Kelly wins an appeal for New York, that 30, your people over there said that he would have to go back to Chicago or whatever to complete the sentencing that Judge Lennon Weber put on him. Well, I am here to say that that's a lie. Okay? So you can tell Atmos that I said that that's a lie. Now, I heard that Atmos may have an attorney or business attorney on his channel. And shout out to him for that. But let's draw a bubble, Drunken Larry. Let's draw a bubble. I can go on the screen and draw one right now because I'm on Zoom, but I don't feel like it. I can go through the whiteboards, but I don't feel like it. So everybody put a circle in the chat, okay? And imagine putting a square inside of that circle, okay? Now, imagine that I've come along because I am challenging that circle that you have up in your chat, in my comments, right, in the chat room, right? And that circle is enclosed with your square. The challenge that I have put up, I won that challenge. That means that that circle has to go away. Get it out of here. But you can't open that circle back up because something was placed inside of that circle. So when the circle goes, which is what Jennifer Bunting planned on doing, getting rid of that circle. That circle had that 30 years. That's the 30-year circle. The box is the other, what was it, 20, 19 or 20? Thank you, Lily. 19 or 20 from Chicago. Well, he put that in that circle. He did. Shout out to Lennon Weber, for putting it in the circle. And then he added concurrent. Okay. So again, your boy Atmos, I think under his alleged business attorney, clearly said that, well, if Bunting wins the appeal, he'll still have to go back and complete the other years. And you, out of all people, Drunken Larry, knows that that is a bunch of buffalo. If the circle goes, those years that Lennon Weber set inside of that circle is going to vanish as well as the 1 year that he tacked on the end. Those prosecution from Chicago should have been kicking that damn building down because Lennon Weber saw through quite a bit of double jeopardy, even though I know y'all don't want to call it double jeopardy. I understand it. It is a state from the federal. However, Lennon Weber, to me, was sitting up there scratching his head like, and that's the same shit from 2002. That's the same video from 2002. And if it's not, Drunken Larry, there is a law out here when it comes to pornography. And I've been searching for one of the videos, but it's taking me some time because you know how I work, Drunken Larry. I'm a busy ass person over here I ain't got all day to be sitting on no panel like y'all do, sweating with your musty booties and armpits and clicking open sodas and shit for 11 and a motherfucking half an hour. I ain't got time to do that shit. And it ain't gonna fucking happen. Okay, arguing back. Not in a mean way, Drunken Larry, not mean arguments, but, humbly over there agreeing and disagreeing over the same goddamn shit. Okay, I ain't gonna do it. My time is too valuable. So you need to have a talk with Alice. Say, Alice, that was the wrong information. If Bonjean wins this appeal, everything is gone. Every single thing is gone. And again, shout out to Linenweber, because in my opinion, Drunken Larry, he's probably telling himself, well, damn, this goddamn prosecution think y'all, they just compounded and brought in all of the old details. I guarantee you, Drunken Larry, if you bring out the 2002 paperwork and set it aside, because one of those attorneys did say, matter of fact, I'm gonna try to run that video for you because I think I saved that in the library, that, we just upgraded. We just took some things from the 2002 trial. Wait a minute, Drunken Larry. Where in the hell was some new people at? See, you need new people in order to call this man what you guys chooses to call him, right? Because it has to show some type of repetitive behavior. Now, to my understanding, RL may have still been probably somewhere around Robert Kelly. That's because she's been broke, okay? It's not because he was sexually enticing and coercing and inducing. It wasn't none of that. She needed him. She didn't have shit. Living, I guess, in what they say in one of the paperwork, she was living up on top of what appeared to may have been like a garage setting or something like that, just still around him, just still hanging out around. See, Judge Linenweber listened to all of those stories in that paperwork. Not only, let me say this, Drunken Larry, I believe that he used more common sense than he did the law in Chicago. I'm just saying, Drunken Larry, because first thing I'd have been saying, y'all, you back again? Y'all back again? Let alone didn't you have a lawsuit against this man already? And you coming back for some more. And you and I both know that is straight double tapping. And that judge was not about, in my opinion, to let that happen. So I'm going to go through a few of these things that I have highlighted in here once I finish reading what you said. You said just a bunch of liars from the overflow room telling y'all he blew them kisses. Well, I can't respond to that because I wasn't there. So I don't know who was in the overflow. I don't even know why you would even be trying to make an argument about who in the fuck R. Kelly is blowing kisses to. Irrelevant. I'm not calling a sidebar on that. And I am going to just dismiss this statement that you have in this paragraph. It's gone. Who the fuck? What you sitting over there worried about? Who the hell is R. Kelly is blowing kisses to? See, and when you inserted this is exactly, just keep this part in mind, Drunken Larry, because this is exactly how I'm going to show you how the prosecution inserted some BS just like you did in this paragraph. They are called, I call those throwaway insertions or throw off. Is to get a person to pause for a minute, lose track of what the real narrative was. Now you want me to stop talking about what happened or what you mentioned about the 2000 and 2008 and recommending RL to go and step out and sue Sony. You want me to disregard that. You want me to disregard the unprecedented for a victim to receive the money. You don't. Now you want me to set that to the side and worry about or try to address the fact that you now, sir, is worried about who the fuck R. Kelly done threw a kiss to. I'm just asking for a friend. See, that's what, and that's how a lot of prosecutorial people write up information. So I'm gonna have to scratch that one right there. Scratch that out. We're not gonna talk about the kisses and then all that shit. You says that the long story short, does RL deserve money? You said, of course, she was robbed of her childhood. Now, let's pause right there, Uncle Larry, because you said she was robbed of her childhood, right? And side note to you, her mother is still in her life. That little group that she was in or whatever, I don't know what happened to that. Why, she was all overseas. Why she didn't get no money for that? So she could have been rich a long time ago instead of looking inside of R. Kelly pockets. But that's here, near, or there. But you said that, in your opinion, you feel that she deserves the money. Oh, drunken Larry. Now, she has a mother out here. And sometimes for a child to not continuously get harmed or hurt, that's when the mother steps in and have her child's back. You ain't got to go ask no man for no money. You ain't got to keep putting yourself in this situation or whatever. I'm going to take care of you. But we know that that wasn't the case because it looks like allegedly she just kept sneaking around her mom and the other families, after Sparkle went in and told her to sit on his lap, rub your goddaddy head, tell him how much that you want to be what you want to be. That is so weird, Drunken Larry, because that's kind of like the same story that you're getting from the freaking Angelo and Alice Clary story of what they was telling Azarel to do. Isn't that some weird shit, Drunken Larry? Sparkle induced, coerced, and enticed her own niece to go sit on R. Kelly's lap. Call him God Daddy. He's gonna like that. Sparkle knew that that was a of age man. She knew it. She knew it. She didn't care either. So why isn't it that RL don't go and get money from Sparkle? Sue her aunt. She should be way more affected by Sparkle. You know why? Because Sparkle already corrupted her mind by telling her it's okay. He's going to be your goddaddy. Sit on his lap, rub his head. See, mentally, Drunken Larry, that right there was enough to fuck RL up. Because RL is probably somewhere thinking, well, why would my aunt want me to sit on this man's lap? So if we want to start saying who owes who and who deserves what, you got to start this from the root, bruh. From the root. She was probably already mentally messed up by being enticed and coerced by Sparkle. She was lost already. See, not only do they put in this paperwork that she felt compelled to listen to an authoritative figure like R. Kelly. That's what RL kept responding to. Well, the prosecutions for her. Let's be political correct, okay? But they failed to say how she was probably already fucked up, misunderstood through whatever misunderstanding that her aunt put on her. So you got to learn to hit shit from the root, not in the middle. The middle doesn't solve anything. The middle only entangles shit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So I think that it is Sparkle, in my opinion, that she should seek damages. I think that she should seek lifetime help from mental people. Make Sparkle pay for it, because had Sparkle not taken her in there to presume that to her that it's okay, sit on his lap, rub on his head. Yeah, she did the damages first. She did those damages first. That's just how I feel. Don't get me wrong, though. I can still understand and humbly agree to you a little bit about, yeah, a grown man, I understand it, should not even want to have the desire to do what you guys have proclaimed that you all are saying that he has done. But the paperwork here clearly says that there was no penetration until long time down the road, I guess. You know, in the videos as well, Drunken Larry, as I read them, are you aware that they don't even talk about penetration like that in the videos? They don't talk about how, oh, he was, humping and humping and humping and humping, and she was screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming, and she orgasmed and he orgasmed. Drunken Larry, I was always wondering too, with all of these details that they have in here, are you aware that they never talk about, even of age, of none of them girls having an orgasm at that young age? They don't even talk about it. Them girls ain't never had goddamn orgasm. I find that very impossible, highly unlikely to believe. Okay? So I also believe that in 2000 to 2008, in that first trial, Drunken Larry, when they acquitted Mr. Kelly due to the fact that, the parents wouldn't testify. However, it did go up in a court of law. Her situation was brought forth in the public eyes, but they killed it. And this is where I like to say the game is to be sold, not told. You understand? Shit happens. But the only people that could have shut that shit down, if this shit was so true about this video number one being recorded all in the Timberland part of the house in Andrea Kelly, the master bedroom, all this shit, right? There would have been way more people coming forth against Mr. Kelly in 2000. There wasn't. The mama, she should have came on out and not taken any money. She should have done it. The dad should have not taken any money. You go help your children. Go help your children first. So that's where I think that she should get the money from, Drunken Larry, for the first person who stirred her wrong. Because maybe if Sparkle wouldn't have stirred her that way, maybe she'd have been a musician and blossoming like it isn't anything. So who really ruined her? Who really ruined her? That's all I'm saying. You says that Does RL deserve the money? You said, of course. She was robbed of her childhood and embarrassed nationally. I agree with you. That goddamn Sparkle did a job on her niece, did she? Damn Sparkle stuck it to her, did she? Wasn't R. Kelly. Nah. It was Sparkle that came out here and put her stuff out in the public. Yeah, R. Kelly didn't put that video stuff out here in the public. It was stolen, right? He didn't go up to the newspaper stands and the magazine stands or Essence and say, hey, I want to put this out here. I think it'll be good out here. No, it wasn't him. It was other people. So when Judge Lunan Weber came across the motion that was filed on this paperwork, listening to the prosecutor saying that these videos, they were got put out here on the street by way of what's the Charles Freeman and all of this stuff. Did you really think that the judge was sitting up there stupid than a motherfucker? Because you all felt because Mr. Kelly made the pornography. This is what you guys feel, that he didn't put them out here. Now, as far as I know, though, Drunken Larry, when it comes to any findings of any pornography, the 2000 and the 2008 trial, they have up until, I think, approximately 7 years. And I believe that I heard that information from an officer on several interviews that, I kind of went and did some research on. It's all destroyed after that. One reason is because they never wanted anybody, not even if we have corrupted police officers in the system, to get hold of these videos, to put them out here on display. So when it comes to video one, this is what confused me, and I'm pretty sure the judge ain't confused about it though, Drunken Larry. I know he's sitting up here going, now, I be damned, is we doing this whole video shit again? That video should have been gone. But yet then you have the prosecution that comes with their diabolical story, right? To tell this judge that, well, we are aware of it in X, Y, and Z, but Freeman and Lisa Van Allen and this person, and they all stole his stuff. And then they put it all out here. See, the first thing I think with Judge Lennon Weber would say to myself, well, it doesn't sound to me like R. Kelly intentionally dropped anything out here in the public to humiliate or just be disgraceful on these ladies, on these females. I think that the judge saw that. I clearly do. There's nothing in the paperwork that says that Mr. Kelly, well, no, I take that back, Drunken Larry, because I got something highlighted. They did try to insinuate that he might have been trying to market something. And you all know, and we all know that that's highly probably not true. You understand what I'm saying? I think that if Mr. Kelly had whatever videotapes that they were allegedly, for his own sexual pleasure, had he was going to be dropping them all off, hell, you'd have said he'd have put them out, they'd have been out there. But they tried to insinuate in this paperwork that he was possibly thinking about marketing some of this stuff, and I was like, wow. But that reminds me of how you, Drunken Larry, come along and put this insertion in about the overflow or telling y'all he blew them kisses. That is kind of equivalent to that. That let me just throw this little piece in here too. See, because now I'm gonna stop thinking about the other details that was important in the paperwork, and I'm gonna start talking about, wait a minute, or even remotely thinking about it. Wait, Mr. Kelly tried to market some videos. Well, when did that happen? You understand what I'm saying? Now I gotta backtrack. I gotta go back here to see if now that statement is true. I believe that with all the preponderance alleged allegations detailing graphic information that they brought, Drunken Larry, that Lennon Weber wasn't having it. Yeah, you're reaching. And I think with all of these accusations that the prosecution brought on this paperwork helped him make his decision to say, you know what, because y'all want to rerun and do this. This is 2002. I'm pretty sure he felt like that. I'm also pretty sure that he probably, since he doesn't look like he's on the Me Too side, right? That was all Donnelly, right? And it don't look like he, I'm pretty sure that he probably, Drunken Larry, dug up or revisit some of the 2008 trial. I'm pretty sure that he probably had, if it wasn't him, it was some people, that work in there. Let me revisit this 2008 case. Wow, this shit does look the same. It's the same. So you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Judge Lyndon Weber probably said to himself, Drunken Larry, man, I don't want no parts of this shit here. This shit is buku crazy, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give the prosecution, you know, what they think, the minimum was for Mr. Cali and Bonjean. He took that into really good consideration. But he stuck it, Drunken Larry, inside of that circle. So now he opened the doors because I believe, this is my opinion now, I believe that he knows that Jennifer Bonjean has a 80-20, 80 in her favor now shot of this appeal. I know. Because when you can't tell me, Drunken Larry, with all this detailing facts that I've been reading here and highlighting today, right? You can't tell me that this wasn't convincing enough for him to say, you know what? Oh, hell no. We're going to run this consecutively. Huh? But he didn't. Because this, Drunken Larry, this is some detailing ass information. But Lennon Weber, he didn't buy it all. So just maybe, Drunken Larry, you might want to ask yourself, well, why didn't he? Do some highlighting on the paperwork. It's going to be a lot of stuff on this last paperwork that make you say, you know what? So, I'm not going to say that don't be mad, but what I am going to say is that information that you implied that your team, your people over there was right about some things. Atmos, love is 100%, and I stand on that fact, is wrong. There is no way that you can put something inside of a bubble. And just because if he wins New York, that he will still have to do those, what was it, 19 or 20 years? No. And you know it, Drunken Larry. You're a whole criminal. You know how to read that paperwork and all of that stuff. But when that bubble goes away, that 1 year is going to go away and everything inside of it. So it's like, it's like a magic trick that he put on that, Now go ahead, Jennifer Bonjean. I done gave you an 80-20 lead way. Go do what you got to do. This paperwork here clearly tells me, in my opinion, on behalf of Judge Lennon Weber, I don't want no parts of this shit no more. This is some crazy shit here. And so he passed the buck on. Yeah. He didn't find a probable cause to issue Mr. Kelly consecutively, for what y'all wanted. Y'all wanted what, 400 years? 400 years? When y'all got people barely in your family that's living to the age of 40. But y'all wanted 500 years on this man's life. And you laughed about it too, Drunken Larry. You thought it was hilarious. Oh, but I get it. That's your comical side of you, because I have one too. You also go on to say that the judge, he didn't award her money. Now you back to the money thing. Something about you and that damn money, I tell you. The judge didn't award her money because he said he didn't have money. That still does not allow or set precedents for a judge to not award you something that you should be awarded for. See, what the judge was saying, Drunken Larry, in my opinion, humbly, that you sued him once. It's not our fault. It's not Mr. Kelly's fault that the attorneys that you chosen took over 60% of your money. You walked away with 200 and something thousand. And I'm pretty sure if he can get up and sing it, he probably did a whole book of Drunken Larry with walk it out. To walk this shit right on up out my courtroom. If you think that you're going to come back up in here and ask me to award you something that you done already sought for, hear me and hear me good, Drunken Larry, on the same offense that you already went through in 2008, Judge Lennon Weber basically was telling her to just go walk it out. He was basically saying, sorry, honey, because when it was up and it's up and it's up and it's stuck, I'm not going to let you, no matter what charges Mr. Kelly had to face, right? I'm not going to lower my dignity, my judge oathness of what I should be doing to protect humane society, right? He's got to protect him as well, right? For you to come in here to try to double dip on this man, especially Drunken Larry, the other details that you was putting money, not you, Drunken Larry, RL was putting money on Mr. Kelly's books. RL was still allegedly writing Mr. Kelly. RL just recently, 2019, I think it's said, came back and asked for Kelly to pay her rent. But the prosecution just sat in Judge Lennon Weber's courtroom proclaiming that she is suffering from some economical issues, some social behavior, and all of the above. Now, it's one thing that you basically try to sell a judge that you going through a lot, but yet then that there may be evidence out here that you was visiting it, you tried to visit it, you put money on his books, you still writing them letters, you still, girl, well, let me tell you this, I'm gonna have to deny that. But you sit over here and says that the judge didn't award her money because he said he didn't have money. I got a part two to that too, Drunken Larry. RL know he ain't had no goddamn money. So what the hell she come back up in there asking for some more to get humiliated or denied by the freaking courts? Maybe she should have kept up her little side bid and just probably write Mr. Kelly every 4 months and say, hey, can you help me out with my rent? That might have would have worked out best for her, being that the last time that she asked him, Durham McDavid wrote and paid the rent. 11, what was it, 1,000 and something, and it came back 1,050 with no problem. No, but the judge, she go there and ask the judge to do it. The judge says, hell to the no, no, no. But she go to Mr. Kelly, and Mr. Kelly say, sure. Hey, Drunk Larry, I bet you her ass over there kicking that Section 8 old garbage can that she put up in that motherfucking house, ain't she? I bet she, fuck, I done fuck this up. Hey, Drunken Larry, I ain't gonna lie. I'd have kept option number two. I'd have just kept calling hey, Robert. Robert, I'm trying to find a job. I'm trying real hard. It's hard out here. I'm behind in the rent just one more time. Since, Mr. Kelly don't, he didn't mind helping, he didn't mind helping her. Put a one in the chat. Y'all feel me? Do y'all feel what I'm saying? Or would y'all prefer to go to the judge after you'd already went and got you a silver suit, right? And those attorneys ate up your money. Now you in front of the judge, I need some more money. And the judge say no. But you right, Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly says, sure, paid your rent two times. You know he gonna possibly play it the third time. So when y'all want to go to Mr. Kelly instead of the goddamn judge, I'm just saying, these are the prosecutors, Drunken Larry, that tried to sell Judge Lennon Weber, I think, because they thought, he was 80 and deficient. I don't know. Judge Leonard Weapon say, just because I'm slouched down in this chair, y'all don't think I'm an old goddamn goon. Don't think you finna slide some shit past me. He said that he'd been doing this for many years. But I think that the prosecution actually undermined his age. Maybe they thought he was dozing off when they was trying to slide these little parts through Drunken Larry like you trying to do in this message to me. That's all I'm saying. You said that's personal, but Sony, Jive, etc. does, and they probably had insurance. Drunken Larry, are you trying to get in on a little bit of this money with RL? Is you trying to tip off and then you gonna help draw up the contracts and cut in your little percentage, sending this girl out there on a goose chase to sue Sony, Jive, and etc. Is that what you're doing? And they probably had insurance, and good goddamn well everybody in that top of line of the music industry is carrying insurance. Some of them like to call it liability. Chuckle, the juggler, you probably about to go find out how much them damn policies are. Cause I think you got a level of skills with the tech people, like the tech, you into that computer shit. You can get in there, you go find some shit out. I don't know. And as you ended your story, you went off to say the end. I appreciate you addressing me because it gave me, a little bit more insight on, how to look at this shit a little bit more, in depth, and something that I don't think that I really wanted to get, that far into Mr. Kelly's case, because you will end up like the panel that you guys sit on, insinuation, feeling obligated to your highly coming of opinions, whether of what he did with his sex life or his money life or his social life and all of that stuff. I don't care to be that deep into that man's life. Now, but you guys went buku crazy over there. I kid you not. Y'all was over there in some real town hall meeting. When it comes to that law, Drunken Larry, and this is exactly why you see so many statutes written up in a paperwork. See, a judge doesn't necessarily have to agree with a specific statute just because a prosecution or defense brought it. Statutes are only inserted into the paperwork just to bring out some output or input, we can use both, on how a particular case went. Is parallel to what we're presenting to you right here. But that doesn't absolutely mean nothing. It just, well, okay. George Byrne versus Eisenhower. Okay, judge didn't read that all up. Doesn't still mean that he has to take that into consideration to say, well, this is why this person is going to win this case, or this is why that person is going to lose that case. It's basically all on the law. Now, let me go back to the beginning of what I only have highlighted, just, temporarily, because I'm not done, Drunken Larry. I think I'm on 27, so I got a ways to go to get this to the conclusion, but we'll go through this. So, just a little bit. And I am aware that Mr. Kelly's case is at, I'm going to call a standstill. I'm not going to say that it's over because everyone is looking forward to that appeal so that Mr. Kelly can be free to go. I just wanted to come on just for a little bit so that Drunken Larry can go back to Atmos and do y'all research about that bubble with that 30 days and put that goddamn sentence in that Lennon Weber had inside that bubble. When you pop that bubble, which is what everyone is praying on behalf of Jennifer Bonjean, to just pop that bubble, it all goes away. If Lennon Weber was solely on the prosecution side for the federal case of Illinois, and they have definitely brought him substantial evidence to really stand on, Drunken Larry, instead of all of this paperwork of a he says, she says, and this looked like a goddamn fairy tale, goddamn story that's on the shelf in the back of the library that ain't never got touched. You just got to pick it up and blow off the dirt only because the color of the book caught your eye. Red. It was a red book. That's all I'm saying. But he knew that this was, in my opinion, very far-fetched. He knew that, in my opinion, most of this storyline in here is straight double jeopardy of what Mr. Kelly had already once been through in 2008, except for they found, of course, being strategic way of changing it up to make it not appear as if it was the same case. But when you bring among the same female, it made it the same case. Drunken Larry. I get it. I get it. She wanted to come out to tell her story. And when Mr. Kelly blurted out, it's too late. Instead of Gail King or all those other people switching up or what they interjecting of what they thought they felt was the meaning to Mr. Kelly saying, it's too late. I think that this is a very good prime example of it's too late. No matter what I did and how I did it and what was the outcome of it in 2008, everybody that was included in that case is done. It's over with. It's not my fault. The game is to be sold and not told. And however he won that case, a case was ran under oath. Didn't matter. And my R. Kelly Hill, it ain't his fault they ass couldn't figure out the shit that long ago. However, on paper, what was this, on the first page of this paperwork, Drunken Larry, it says, I'm just highlighting some things. This is coming from the prosecution. Kelly goes so far as to insinuate that he, not the young girls he abused, is the victim because of the federal government elected to prosecute him for egregious and conduct that occurred throughout the United States for over 20 years. So what I'm hearing in that along, Drunken Larry, is the prosecution trying to sell this judge as well as the jury that this is a pattern that Mr. Kelly has kept up in the average of 20 years. Do you know in this paperwork that they don't have a story about Mr. Kelly's behavior in 2000 and some of the years in the midst of 2008 up until this 2021, other than the Azrael and the Jocelyn. There was nothing new. So I kept asking myself, well, where's this repetitive behavior that they keep mentioning that he just kept doing for 20 years? A, a predator, a prey, a pedophile, this is an addiction in a human being. So you will see this pattern consistently in these type of people. Now, we can come across some people that we can honestly agree to disagree that may need a little help over sexually active. And Drunk Larry, before I get off of here, I'm gonna touch into that shit too, because I'm trying to see about the part about how y'all side is so damn mad about somebody overly sexually active. That's some crazy shit, you know. I ain't even know. Well, let's keep it going. I highlighted this part too, though, Drunk Larry. It says appropriately accounts for the indescribable harm defendants has caused Jane, Pauline, and Nia. Such a sentence is required to protect Kelly's would-be victims and is sufficient, but not greater than necessary to meet the goals of sentencing. I'm just highlighting some things that was just so far outcast in this paperwork. How you doing, Sir Miguel? Everybody, Claudine, to be blessed, AR, Shannon, what's going on? Kim, Shakira, I'm gonna take a moment to speak to you all, but I want to kind of keep it rolling if that's okay with you guys. That's all. Let me see. K-Baby, what's going on? What's going on? Did I miss anybody? Stephanie, what's going on? Elizabeth B, what's going on? What's going on? And Tia, I see you up there, Tia. I see you. She said Sony is not going to even pay any of those females anyway. You pay one that, hey, I agree with you, Tia. I agree. But let me keep going. Then I'm going to try to come to the chat and talk to you guys just for momentarily. I will. So, a sentence of 300 months imprisonment appropriately accounts for the indescribable harm defendant has caused to Jane, Pauline, and Nia. So that's them off the bat right there, Drunken Larry, asking for the 300 months alone for the indescribable harm defendants. Okay. Now let's move on, because they put as their number one as factual background. I'm gonna highlight that whole thing about factual. And it says between 96 and 2001. Just that right there, Drunken Larry, I had a problem with, because they said between. But yet then they came in at number one being factual background. But then they started it out with between. Something tells me that somebody isn't exactly sure about what year. Was it 1996? Was it 2001? Was it 97? Was it 98? So they covered, thank you, Shannon, they covered their asses just to make sure in case the real date comes out, they got it somewhere in between, you know, those two dates to make what they're about to say become factual. Okay. I have a problem with that, because I want to know the exact one. You're asking to send someone 300 months up the stream. I want it to be nailed down where I can go back and fact check it, not bringing in 20 or 30 goddamn minions behind this one to make it solidify. I want to be able to see it. Callie repeatedly sexually abused young girls. Goes by the name of Jane and Pauline and Nia. And I'm not reading all of this paperwork. Okay, I just wanted to put those names to the factual background. You go down to A, which the first one up in the paperwork was Jane. It says in 96 and 97. So it says that she was about 13 years old when they met. 13-year-old, we know that she did not meet Mr. Kelly on her own. Hey, Brenda, we know now that there had to be some adults around in order for her. We know she ain't driving over there by herself. We know she ain't just, met him at the candy store. We know all of that is exempt, right? So we know that there's a parent somewhere around or auntie, right? So as I go down to highlight just this right here, it tells me she was introduced to Kelly by her aunt. Now, Drunken Larry, do you remember when Sharon Winbush came out? Do you remember that? Sharon Winbush came out? And Sharon Winbush got all loud and was telling this whole story about, oh my God, and Drea was upstairs. No, yeah, and then Sparkle told the story, so she kind of collaborated the story too, right? She was on the couch, and Drea was upstairs, and she was all locked in, and this. This also helps collaborate with the fact that it was her aunt that says, go in there, tell him that you want him to be the God daddy, and you need to rub his head, rubbing on the God daddy's head and sit on his lap. This is where the problem is at, Drunken Larry. And sometimes you got to beat the problem, like they beat the mule with the stick. You got to start here. So when you start hearing all these people out here saying, if he goes down, then everybody goes down. Sparkle should have went down. Sparkle should have had handcuffs on her, not sitting on a stand to testify against Mr. Kelly at all. None. None. Mm-mm. No, that's not how that gets played out. Because right now, the world should have want to know what was inside of Sparkle's head to go and tell a 13-year-old to go and ask somebody to be your God daddy. I think there was arguments out here about that situation a while back. It's usually the parents that ask if you don't mind being the godparent of my son or my daughter. But this one here went the opposite direction. Sparkle sent the 13-year-old to go get her own goddamn god daddy. So start there, Drunken Larry. Then I highlighted, well, at that time, you said, it says that Jane, she was a musician. That can be verified. That can be looked up by Judge Lennon Weber. Yeah, just click on it. He'll see that she was an aspiring singer. However, if I can interject my opinion about it, it didn't sound like too much of nothing to me. But, that was over in Seas. Wasn't that London or something? Maybe they like that kind of singing. I don't know. But then it sounded like me in the shower. Shit. Now, I'm going to go fast forward on that because I'm only touching what I highlighted, which we just went over, Drunken Larry. Jane's aunt. Now, sit up there, Drunken Larry, and put yourself inside of Lennon Weber's shoes right now. Put your robe on and get your gavel. Pretend that you didn't been all the way through all of this lost common sense along with it. In this paperwork, and it says, Jane's aunt instructed Jane to sit on Kelly's lap, rub his head, and ask him to be her godfather. Kelly says yes. Now, here's a question that you can ask yourself, Drunken Larry. as a judge, what type of bejesus, carnation type of shit is this? Who is this aunt? I'm pretty sure Lennon Weber found out that, it would sparkle. You sound good in the shower. Girl, I'll be trying. So I'm just saying, you have to put yourselves in this judge's shoes, in his shoes, to hear some type of shit like this. But you all want the judge to sit up there and be convinced that Mr. Kelly is the pedophile, that he did the coercing, the enticing. I'm talking about at this point. We ain't gotten down to the other paragraphs right here. And I'm sure this judge is like, well, this don't sound like R. Kelly doing no coercing and enticing to me. This sounds like the goddamn aunt did the damn coercing and enticing. However, because he's the judge, he can't stop his show to pinpoint on just that alone. I'm sure he wants to. Oh, I'm sure, Drunken Larry, if the situation would have done a U-turn and it was sparkle up in this court and this came through, I'm pretty sure the judge would have probably hit sparkle with 300 freaking months. I'm pretty sure. You did what? Well, why would you do that? However, let's move forward. Yeah. I'm just pointing out some things to you of what, my opinion are. This paragraph here says that Kelly progressed the talks to phone sex. Okay? Hearsay. I'm just speaking, this is hearsay. There's no way to prove that. I'm willing to bet you that there is no phone records or anything all the way back from where this girl, what was it, 1990, find my year again, 91, was it 91? 91. 96. 96. I'm just saying, but they had to bring that up. And where he would tell Jane that he was masturbating. Well, ask yourself this, Drunken Larry. Let's ask yourself this. Because this is what the prosecution says, that he would tell Jane that he was masturbating. But they already implied that she was 13, 14, 15. How many 13, 14s, or 15s do you know that may even know what masturbation is? Huh? And if you going to attempt to respond that it's a possibility that she do know, I'm going to rebuttal back to you with saying to you, then she had to be somewhere already introduced or well aware beyond her level of sexual activity, sexual induction, of sexual men part, and all of that, sexual crippity crap stuff that goes with it, right? But this is what they tell us, that Kelly progressed the talks to phone sex. He told her that he was masturbating at 13 and 14 in their phone calls. They didn't say nothing about penetrating or none of that stuff. But somewhere deep down in the law, I guess if you are speaking to someone that is younger than you in a sexual way, that I guess you should get life in sentence. I guess you should get life for it, which is ludicrous. That's ludicrous, Drunken Lad. That's ludicrous. The most that could have been done with that is, listen here, if you call this young lady again, we may have to fine you. There's elements to this there's levels to this fucking game. This occurred within weeks of Kelly becoming Jane's godfather. Just weeks. She was 14. You mean to tell me talking to a 14-year-old did not freak her out, drunken Larry? She ain't do no screaming. Oh my God, what are you talking about? No. Nope, you know what story they sold the courtroom, drunken Larry? They sold the courtroom that she said that she had to follow respectfully up under a authoritative figure. That's what she said. And you know what Judge Linda Ware is still back there scratching his head on this shit. Like, what? Huh? Well, the authoritative figure should have been her mother. Should have been maybe Sparkle. Huh? Because she complied to Sparkle rule too. Go sit on his lap and go rub his head. Hey, Joy. Callie had sexual intercourse with her hundreds of times before she turned 18. You are aware that that has to be the most difficult thing to prove in court. What did she do, drunken Larry? Did she keep toothpicks in a cup? Did she write it on a calendar? She got some X's or something on a calendar? When you far-fetch, when you attempt to throw a story out here as strong as they try to do, a judge is very damn aware of, number one, what they're trying to do, which means that go above and beyond a convincing. We have to stretch the truth. Now you left Judge Lennon Weber in a difficult position because he has to sit there and decide what is the truth and what is not. They made it too complicated to know the difference. You didn't know. Because the first thing is, if you're going to talk about Mr. Kelly having intercourse with you 100 times, how you going to prove that to me? So basically what I'm saying, drunken Larry, maybe they should have just kept this cheesy by saying, well, Kelly has had sexual intercourse. Just leave it right there if you want to win your case. Because if you can't prove this whole hundreds of times that you say that he did, it should have been best to leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Ain't no need sometimes, drunken Larry, of pouring gravy on every goddamn chicken steak that you cook. That's all I'm saying. You're trying to make it taste better and taste more better and better. Keep putting some more salt on it. Put a little bit more pepper on it. Oh, he's going to buy this shit. But in the court of law, what can't be proven needs to be thrown out, drunken Larry. It just, we gonna hear it. We gonna listen to it. But how much will it weigh in on us finding this man, drunken Larry's 500 years consecutively? Huh? I'm just saying, drunken Larry. He put the years in the bubble. And if you guys are looking forward to Mr. Kelly, as you guys say, spending the rest of these years in life, you all better show hope and pray y'all ass off that Miss Jennifer Bungie is not bringing, and I repeat, is not bringing the miscarriage of justice. You, out of all people, drunken Larry, know good goddamn well that Jennifer Bungie her first subject up in there at that appellate court has every bit of Mr. Kelly not receiving a bond. They in trouble. Y'all in trouble with that one. That one right there by itself, drunken Larry. Y'all in trouble. He should have had a bond. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jennifer Bajin, soon as she pulled the chair up behind him and they get the microphones queued up and she starts saying his due process, a failure to issue him a bond is inhumane. Uh-huh. And the 3 or the 4 or the 5 or the 6 appellate judge is sitting up in there saying, what? Mr. Kelly been in jail? Oh, what? Oh, case dismissed. They don't even want to hear the rest of it, Drunk Larry. They ain't gonna even want to hear the rest of it. They don't go want to hear nothing else. Nothing. But that's just my opinion, humbly, respectfully stated here on the One Papoose Show. That's all. I feel like that's all that I would have to say though, Drunk Larry. Like, shit. They had my client in there for all of this XYZZZ they did. Now, you know what? Appeal granted. Case is this. Throw this shit up out of here. Yeah, they messed up. They've went down so many wrong avenues, in my opinion, Georgia Larry. I'm sorry. But let's keep going. It says here that within weeks of Kelly becoming, okay, we did that, Jane's godfather. Jane was just 14 years old. Yeah. Hi, lady. Hey, be pretty. Moving right along. Says here that Kelly had sexual intercourse. We did that one too, with her hundreds of times before she turned 18 at his home, in the studio, on the tour buses, and at some hotels. Now let's jump back to the one that says at his home, Drunken Larry. And at his home, I believe that there resided a wife. Put a 1 in the chat if I'm right. Was his wife also at the home? And then he had younger children, right? So I don't recall them, Drunken Larry, bringing in Andrea's testimony about RL having multiple sexual encounters with Mr. Kelly in their bed. In their bed. Drunken Larry, Andrea has stated multiple times on many televised broadcasting shows on the YouTube channel, or, even on some of the news shows, that she hardly ever left home. Hell, even Sharon Winbush, that, she helped with the lunches and packed them up and drove it and went to the store with them and did it. But for the most time, Sparkle says that Andrea Kelly was always locked up there in the room. And most of us out here on YouTube is pretty sure that that was the master bedroom that the prosecution included in this paperwork. I'm trying to see where in the hell, Drunken Larry, does that make any goddamn sense for the prosecution to even put that in there? That's all I'm saying. But I can remember Andrea Kelly saying that she hardly ever left the house. Pretty much. She didn't like me to leave. Nobody knew who I was. Sparkle said she was locked up there in that master bedroom. But the prosecution has implied here that RL has had sexual intercourse hundreds of times at his home in the master bedroom. Hey, Drunken Larry, you know what I think? I think that the prosecution forgot to watch several of Sparkle outputs on the media. Maybe they didn't tune in to Breakfast Club or some shit. Maybe they didn't tune in to a lot of what Andrea was out here speaking when she was all over on that one show crying on that couch and over here and then singing in the car and all that stuff. Maybe they should have recorded all that shit before they start putting some of these insertions in, when the public knows that RL kind of grew up around Andrea X Kelly. I'm just saying, all on a tour bus. Andrea said she was on a tour bus. She said they moved all the kids' stuff on the tour bus. Do they not know that? Do they not know at his studio? Didn't they say that? Well, I don't know when them twins came in at, but there had to be other people at the studio other than R. Kelly at this damn studio. You know, it's some crazy shit. But moving right along, I just want to tap on that one too, Drunken Lab. I also highlighted this part too. We talk about Jane, okay? Jane invited, among others, Pauline and Brittany. They were also minors, according to what the prosecution is saying, right? It says here that Kelly engaged Jane in threesomes. Doesn't says that he participated in the threesomes to these underage girls that the prosecution keep talking about. It says that threesomes with Pauline, multiple times with Jane. Kelly engaged Jane, not himself, Jane, in threesomes with Pauline multiple times when Jane was 15 and 18. Kind of sound like that darn Lisa Van Allen story, didn't it? Mm-hmm. He made me and so kiss lips and do this and do that. Mm. But it was never a story about R. Kelly doing the penetrating. I that's the part that I don't get, Drunken Larry. So the government, in my understanding, took all of these ladies' story and turned it to push the narrative that he was actually having sex with them. That's crazy. That's crazy. I cannot sit here and argue about the enticing and the coercing, Drunken Larry. But with all of this paperwork, I can pretty much tell you a limited time that these prosecutions talk about Mr. Kelly doing any penetration to these girls, young ladies. I don't read it. It's just my opinion. Kelly sought to memorialize his sexual exploitation of them. To do so, he recorded his sexual encounters with Jane. He used a camcorder. That's what they say. They say that she was just 14. The first time Kelly he produced child pornography. Not sexually penetrating her in the child pornography. I know child pornography is wrong, so you don't have to clarify that with me, Drunken Larry. Okay, I understand that. It's what I'm talking about on how far-fetched that the prosecution did on some of this shit that just was not true. That's all I'm saying. Featuring his abuse of her. It's the video one that I like to talk about, Drunken Larry, because this video one allegedly was produced or taken right around in the 19, what was that, 96 or 97, 98 or something like that. And keep in mind though, Drunken Larry, this is just me, my opinions. Aaliyah was before RL. He met her 2 months or so after Aaliyah. Why isn't it that there's no talk about this alleged pedophile or child pornography, anything going on with Aaliyah? She was young, as you guys say, right? What, he wasn't into it then? But the prosecution says that he has notorious repetitive behavior of being a pedophile. He has highly interest in filming young girls. But there ain't been one argument out here about Aaliyah on any child pornography. Where is this consistent behavior? Is what I'm asking. Where is it? Because I don't see it. On here it says that Jane invited these people, Pauline and Brittany. The prosecution sat there and told this judge that those girls were minors too. Told this judge that Jane invited them. Doesn't say anything about R. Kelly. Told Jane, it says that Jane invited these people. Now, I don't know if they left that out or whatever, but you can't leave nothing out when you're trying to prove your point. Among others, yeah. All it says that Kelly engaged them. So could it be possible that Jane was excited and she just wanted them to come along? I'm just saying, you don't have this type of talk about Aaliyah at all, or Mr. Kelly, enticing and inducing and coercing and none of that stuff. It's just all of a sudden what his mind went through his whole memorializing lifestyle. Oh, let me do it now with RL. Really? But let's move on. It says that Kelly sought out, we did that to memorialize his sexual exploitation of them. To do so he started recording his sexual encounters with Jane with a camcorder. Video 1, like I say, I believe, Drunken Larry, it is totally against the law to hold child pornography. I believe I've got to remember where I read. I got to jog my memory back on it or go through my notes. Beyond 7 years, it is to be destroyed. Mr. Kelly's life did not have to become of such a beatdown, Drunken Larry. Had those people started with Lisa Van Allen or even Durham McDavid or Charles Freeman or taken some things that did not belong to them, to travel it from state to state, to put this man in a position, first position that a lot of people is thinking of is that on behalf of Mr. Kelly would be he's protected. This wasn't something that he wanted out here. This wasn't something that that I don't believe that he would want to have had exploited out here. Because other than that, Drunken Larry, he could have dropped him his damn self. He could have put him out his damn self. So he wasn't that dang on buku crazy, you know. Sometimes we may be slow in some things, but there's a whole lot of other things that we just not goddamn slow at. And he sure was not oblivious of the freaking law. This wasn't his first time running into trouble with freaking law. He done probably had got stopped with on his bicycle and got a ticket or something. So we know the police is always in force out there on some things, always enforcing some things. So you have to be aware. But the government says that eventually, he says that the recording sessions continued, eventually included video 1, video 2, video 3, each of which were viewed by the jury at a trial. And it led to Kelly's convictions on count 1, 2, and 3. Now, because I'm not going to talk about these videos like how you guys like to do, but what behooves me with these videos, Drunken Larry, is for Mr. Kelly to have done so much in these videos. 26 minutes, 21 minutes. I think video 3 was also 23 minutes. You know, Mr. Kelly got like a timer on his thing. You mean to tell me that he's watching the time timing on these videos, and he's all like 20. Maybe he had a watch on, drunkin Larry. I don't know. We'll give you the benefit of the freaking doubt. I was like, yeah, they got all these videos the same, but that's here, near, there, drunkin Larry. After his case in 2008, there should have not been any other evidence, after that trial. No way, no shape, no form of fashion to be used. The same videotape, same girl, a little bit different because Michael Avenatti said it was a little different. The positions changed, this and this and this and that. Same girl to be out here to be used in a 2022-23 trial against Mr. Kelly. Should have not been existable at all. We don't have anything. As far as somebody coming forward, talking about they had the copies of it. Jim Derrick got it, talking about somebody dropped the copy off to me or anybody else, or Michael Avenatti. And if those new alleged tapes or DVDs don't have anybody on it that is new, that has not been to trial, then those tapes should have not, in my opinion, granted, I get it, it's the law, should have not been in existence to be talked about ever. So with Jim Derrick Goddess speaks on the fact that he is for, it was about the Black girls. Jim Derrick Goddess will not be around to do anything to help the Black girls' culture at all. He did his job and he's done. Jim Derrick Goddess has his books. Ask yourself, Black girls, has Jim Derrick Goddess started a project, a housing project campaign for Black girls? Go and find out if Jim Derrick Goddess even has a foundation fund set up in the name of Black girls. Something, anything. You probably won't find it. Probably won't find it. Go and ask Jim Derrick Goddess, instead of bringing out our young Black girls to be humiliated and embarrassed about something that most of them done already went through and probably had treatment. Some of them been through the court system on this situation already. I don't recall him walking or talking it out with Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, Farrakhan, or none of them. So when you want to take that other culture, and no disrespect to them, and jump they behind inside of this culture over here, is no different. I kind of look at it, and I hate to say it, with relationships a little bit. A lot of relationships goes through a lot of entanglement because each person is trying to learn how each person is in these, that, with it being diversified in culturism, right? This is no different than what Jim Derrick Goddess tried to do. You didn't belong in it. He should have stayed his ass up out of it. That's just how I felt about that, because you brought up something that had already been looked at. The girls had already, or whoever came in there to testify, had their story. But he just insisted on, kept pressing it and pressing it and pressing it, and prosecution, they pressing it and pressing it and pressing it. And you're going to mix old ass materials with whatever new materials you have. That's not check and balance. It's an entanglement. And they left everybody out here trying to decipher what's factual and what's not. An open door, bare plates. That's why you got COVID over there. The door was open. they was able to interject now about how they feel. He did this, he did that, he did that. But had the law stuck to what the law was implied and what it's supposed to do and comply to their own freaking laws, there should have not been any other discussion about, especially video number one. And that's just my freaking opinion. Skipping ahead. Look at this. Video 3, 21 minutes. That Kelly in the main bedroom of Kelly's home. In the main bedroom. It doesn't even imply or anything in here of nothing about, well, to bag this up, we know that his children went home. We know that his wife went home. They left all of that out of there. They don't even have a date. They don't have a date because I know she's a alleged victim, so she probably, can't even recollect that information, but they expect for Mr. Kelly to recollect 30 years back, like Bonjane said. How the hell is he supposed to remember 30 years back about every freaking detail? But yet then here, you have a prosecutor inserting that the video 3 depicts another sexual encounter between herself and Kelly in the main bedroom. When? What I have on? How? Who brought you there? I ain't gonna remember none of that. I don't remember none of that. But, it is what it is. But this is how they work. No other detailing information so that you are in a position or can be in a position to go and fact check this stuff that they said. So it becomes hearsay. And Judge Lennon Weber had to sit up there and read all of this hearsay. Okay, you think so? You can raise your hand, tell the truth, whole truth, all the truth, also help you God, all you want to. Most of the people, the majority of the people in this world pretty much knows that, God ain't finna come down and strike you down today. Is it possible? Maybe. It's not like you can stand on the stand, hold your hand up. Y'all go to court about them traffic tickets because, yeah, I do. No, you're going to still get up there and lie because most of y'all already know. You can step off that sand and be like, forgive me, God. And you're going to go on about your day. But you're going to get your case through as you plan accordingly to, right? Let's move on. But every video, 21 minutes. I found that just weird. And this one here that I highlighted, Dr. Larry, it says, including in the phone sex, oral sex, and intercourse. The threesomes, and Kelly recorded them. Okay. I found this as a oopsie daisy, Judge Lennon Webb. Did you hear that part? I was talking, Drunk Larry. I was calling his name out while I was reading this. Judge Lennon Webb, did you get that part? Listen to what they said. What they said, Pat. It says that Jan testifies that she was uncomfortable, Judge Lennon Weber, with the sexual encounters with Kelly. It also says here, now listen, Judge Lennon Weber, because it says, including the phone sex, she was tired, she was uncomfortable. She was also uncomfortable of the oral sex. She was also uncomfortable of the intercourse. She was also uncomfortable of the threesomes. And Kelly recording them. Recording them. Now, Judge Lyndon Weber sitting there saying, well, okay, granted, and I understand that. He also had to hear the fact that the prosecutions told him that she did not even know how to say no to her godfather. That's where Judge Lennon Weber starts to scratch his head. To her godfather. Now, after you sat here and you tell me that Jane feels very uncomfortable with all of these sexual encounters with Kelly. You cannot stand here and tell me or sell me the bullshit that he is still her godfather. It's not a godfather anymore. It's not a godfather. You understand what I'm saying? Even though that their narrative was he had taken on that position. This is my goddaughter. But after the fact that you're telling me that they has entered into intercourse and threesomes and phone sex, it becomes no longer a godfather. Why was the prosecution steady trying to sell this shit as a godfather? To what, make Mr. Kelly continuously to look bad? Well, how can her goddaddy do this? The goddaddy stuff been out the window. They failed to listen here at the fact that, well, no, they didn't fail because they did. So I take that back. Somewhere down along in this paperwork, how a relationship developed. But if all of this is going on, the sexual intercourse and the threesomes and all of that stuff, right? A relationship had been developed back then as well. This was the difference. The goddaddy stuff been thrown out the window long time ago. So which story are you going to try to sell Lennon Weber? Is he a predator? Is he this, or is he that, or is he the goddamn godfather? Which one do you want us to, which one do you want to sell me right now? So they threw quite a bit at Judge Lennon Weber. They went way overboard. Kelly obstructed justice. So I highlighted. Did I highlight it? No, I didn't highlight anything on the obstruction of justice because you guys went through that, or did I? We did the exploitation, blah, 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 all this freaking money. The dad was paid $23,000, $8,000, $3,000, all this money. But yet then she still goes to Kelly for some rent. You mean to tell me that Brandon didn't give Susan quite a bit of money to put up? I know Lennon Weber like, what the hell is y'all done did with all of this money? I wonder if he really wants to know. Y'all done blow all of this damn money. This shit is crazy. But the prosecution tries to sell to Lennon Weber that she was distraught. The family was hurting, embarrassed, scared. And you know what Lennon Weber sitting up there saying, with all his damn money? You can't possibly be scared or so-and-so an XYZ and y'all getting off $30,000? What the hell is you scared of with $30,000? That was enough money right then and there to go and buy y'all a whole nother life. That was some starter money right there. But they didn't do that. Money will bring some form of happiness. It may not be long term, but you're going to get a little bit of happiness out of it because, man, you get to go get the shoes, the clothes, the travels, and cruises. You can go do a whole bunch of shit. But the prosecution continuously tried to prove to this court on how they were unable to function in the real world. This is what they were trying to prove to Judge Lindeweber. Yeah, they couldn't do this, and then they're gonna have to have all this mental treatment. They're gonna have to take these pills for the rest of their life. She lost all of her friends. I wants to know what she was doing when she came across all this buku of racks in the mouth. What was their state of mind then? That's what I want to know. And I'm pretty sure if Jennifer Bajay braced some shit out like this up there about all this money that they was getting and X, Y, and Z, I'm pretty sure that they gonna want to know what was their state of mind, when a $30,000 check hit that household. Huh? Now, they didn't get any, and somebody might have been smoking it up really fast, but they went through quite a bit of money to not be unhealthy out here in the world. That's all I'm saying. How was she feeling, as y'all said, when Mr. Kelly bought her a vehicle. Was she crying? Was she upset? Was she distraught? Did she feel like that she had to just take the vehicle because an authoritative figure told her that you gonna take this figure, her goddaddy, take this car? Was she upset then? I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy, right? I just wanted to point this out because they did have it in here about what happened at sentencing with the due process clause of the Fifth Amendment supplants the federal rules of evidence, requiring information used at sentencing to be reliable and accurate. Keywords. To state it another way, facts considered at sentencing must be proved by a preponderance of evidence. And in this case, the preponderance of evidence that they have to present to the courts was hearsay. Okay? All hearsay. Guesstimated dates and this could have happened and this could have happened, you know. The only one that really told the truth pretty much about all that moving around with these VHS tapes that we know that was Freeman. I think that man was telling the truth, and you know, and he gave it to him and he sold it to him and she moved it over here. He got a cut and everybody needed $250,000. And that was the deal, Your Honor. R. Kelly didn't know, and R. Kelly didn't have none, and we was trying to wait for money, and she called and she set the money up, and we wanted the money. I'm just saying that has, however, they did bring in prosecution, you know, the preponderance evidence of how, you know, the way that they told their story, that we, you know, we went over here, we went over there. It was this time I met with him, XYZ. It's quite different to listening to RL's story and Pauline and Nia's story. It's just different, but that was part of that sentencing of the due process. Now, this one here, I had to put a little humor to it because it was humorous to me, as it reminded me just for a second of Drunkin Larry typing that memo on some page that he attached my name to. It says, this one was about Nia. She says, Kelly, this is the prosecution now telling the story. So let's go on through the third part. Kelly kissed Nia, asked her to undress, which she did. Kelly asked Nia to walk towards him, turn around. He then asked Nia to sit next to him and asked her to visit him in Chicago. Well, she said yes. She said yes. But I guess, you know, again, a lot of people feel just because a person gets starstruck or headstrong and or motorhead or whatever, this is a celebrity, that I have to admit on, I have to agree, or I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And the minute that they also engage in doing it and doing it and doing it, the law has it set up where it falls into the perpetrator hands. In this case, Mr. Kelly. You asked her, enticed, encouraged, engaged, you know, coerced. Nothing goes on the female, you know. There's, you know, and I know psychologically it's kind of hard to implement a pilot on behalf of that, right? Because now we will be like, you know, we can say it all day, every day. You shouldn't have went. You know better than that. You shouldn't have gone. But at the same time, if we don't start to implement some type of pilot program, whereas to, you know, that this is an entirely grown ass man, and you know that you should say no. I can't go. Sorry. Maybe my dad could bring me, maybe my mom. You understand what I'm saying? So we just have to keep working with females that way and see how that works. But we all know in this whole celebrity business, yeah, that's highly likely to be accomplished. Very highly likely. You know, everybody wants a piece of the celebrity world, at least some people do. So he had asked Nia to sit next to him and he asked her to visit him in Chicago. So she said, yeah. Right after that, they interjects with Kelly then fondled and kissed Nia's breast and masturbated until he ejaculated and then left. They did not mention anything about penetration at all. At all. But that's okay. The government feels like they don't need to insert something like that because they're selling their story very well on coercion. Mhm. They feel like they're doing such a wonderful job with that. But after this line here, do you know that it spoke nothing about Nia going straight to a police department, filing any type of charges of being of unwelcoming gestures around or on her body or anything about how she feels? She doesn't go and ask, is this something that's supposed to happen to me or nothing? They just go right on back into the story, presenting this to Lennon Weber that months later, in the summer of 96, that she traveled now to Chicago. There's nothing in between the story that says that Nia was uncomfortable, solicited, coerced, or anything. There's no police report to back up this statement that they just put in here about Kelly then fondled and kissed Nia's breast and masturbated until he ejaculated. There's nothing there to back that up. So when they keep coming with all this preponderance evidence, Drunk Larry, where is the evidence to back up this he say, she say shit? Where is it? And I'm pretty sure that Judge Lennon Weber would have probably wanted to see something of a sort as well. Well, did she take this measure? And this is not to say that we're putting this on the females. This is all led to say that if this is the story that you're going to bring, just so that we don't make a mistake of jailing someone that's not supposed to be in jail, wrongfully convicted based off of your allegedly or could be fabricated stories. That's all. If you're gonna bring it, you gotta bring it all. Ain't no half stepping, because what kills a character the most, Drunken Larry, is the questions behind it. Is when you have to be questioned. And most people that comes with these allegations or accusations on each other usually don't expect certain levels of questions to come about. Some of them feel like that they could just walk right on up in there and tell a good goddamn story. Some of them do. And this is what I feel is what the prosecution chose to do with this federal Illinois trial. I'm just saying. It says here's that. Dig this one, Drunken Larry. This one right here is a killer right here. Now, this was in the late summer of 96, right? It says here that Nia arrived with her cousins. Now, write that down, Drunken Larry, because I surely want you to think a little bit like Judge Lennon Weber. Nia arrived with her cousins. She had traveled to Chicago. She spoke with Kelly on the phone, still no penetration. And he invited her to his recording studio. Now, you know good goddamn well, Drunken Larry, that Leonard Webber sitting up there like, wait a minute. Where's the part with Mr. Kelly then masturbated and breast grabbing and penetrating and just, that's not in it. Okay. Because you are supposed to be showing this repetitive behavior behind this alleged pedophilia behavior that you guys said that he has. But here it says that he invited her to his recording studio. But when Nia arrived with her cousins, they had to put this part in here. They want to make Kelly look all dangerous now, discombobulated. Kelly seemed upset that she did not arrive alone. Now, Drunken Larry, how do you think that they would be able to prove that if Kelly was upset? You think that they would be able to prove that? Because I don't think so. Hearsay. Hearsay. So with the hearsay, we gonna move to strike this motherfucker shit up out of here. That's what we're gonna do. Now, it says, while at the studio, Kelly kissed Nia, fondled her breast and touched her vajayjay and bottom. And they concluded with that part right there with Nia, Drunken Larry. They didn't say anything about he laid her down on the keyboards and he continued to unzip his pants and he put it in, they ain't do none of that shit. None of it, right? They just said he fondled her breast and he touched her vajayjay and the bottom, and then it goes off. Also, Drunken Larry, she arrived with her cousins. Now, you know Judge Looney Weber is sitting up there like, well, what the hell is the cousins? Now, don't get me wrong, because the story goes on. Like the cousins then disappear in one room or somewhere, and Kelly just done pull Nia on inside of the studio. What part of the studio? Where was these cousins at? Why aren't these cousins in my courtroom testifying to the statement? So the prosecution half-stepped this paperwork, half-stepped this damn story on trying to sell a lot of this 30-year-old hearsay story to this. How many years Leonard Webber been sitting up there on that stand? And not every story is a good enough story to pass through, to tear down someone's life the way that you guys wanted him to do so. Yeah, I'm still reading it though, D. So I'm just at this part here, and I'm just telling the story. I'm being Leonard Webber. So I'm still getting there. On the day that, and I'm not, like I said, and I'm skipping quite a bit. Pauline and Jane spent time with Kelly and his wife, hanging out at their Georgia Street home. Now, D, so you can understand how I'm telling the story, I'm just randomly picking some things and just kind of touching on them. Because this one right here, D, says that Pauline and Jane spent time with Kelly and his wife, hanging out at their Georgia Street home. But yet then the prosecutors tried to sell the story that Mr. Kelly was having repetitive sexual intercourse inside of his homes at some given point in time. But Jane here is also known to be spending time with Kelly and his wife. Now, this is some awkward shit. Either Drea Kelly pretended to not never know nothing about this, or Sparkle pretended to not know nothing about this, or this just did not happen. Because one thing that Drea Kelly and Sparkle did not, well, not Sparkle, but Drea Kelly, I don't think that I heard her mentioning on any of these talk shows that she has been on that she had ever caught her husband in the bed with RL or enticing and coercing her. I don't think so. Pauline went looking for Jane, so he had found her in Kelly's basement in the log cabin room. That's where video one was filmed. And y'all know the rest of the story of that because y'all have heard this paperwork read about 2 or 3 times. What else did I highlight? What time is it? Like I said, I don't want to get to boring you guys too much with this. And my only reasoning for coming on tonight was just to rebuttal back to Drunken Larry's poetic memo that was over there attached with my name to it. This one here fell up on, let me see how many more I'm going to do because I still have quite a few of them highlighted. When asked, why did you participate in those sex acts with Kelly? Jane responded, it was out of intimidation. He was an authoritative figure. So I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know how to say no. That falls back on Sparkle, Drunken Larry, when Sparkle said, sit on his lap, rub his bald head, tell him to be your goddaddy. I did not know how to say no. So she wasn't failed or from up under Mr. Kelly's direction, supervision, authoritative figure. She was failed already up under Sparkle because she did not know how to say no. Now, I don't know which one came first or which one came second, or which one came second and which one came first, Drunken Larry. So maybe the chat can help me with this because I probably just got off track with it. With Sparkle. Then Sparkle says that she walked into the studio and she saw her niece there and she asked her, what you doing here? Who dropped you off here? How'd you get here? X, Y, and Z, right? So which one is first? Was that time of era first, or was it first for her to say, go make him your goddaddy? Huh? Because on all these talk shows, that's what her story was. She walked into the studio. She saw Jane at studio asking her, what you doing here? But then in all of this paperwork, they come with the other story, Drunken Larry, saying that it was her aunt that says, go sit on his lap and rub his head and get him to be your goddaddy. So which one came first, y'all? Which one do y'all think came first? Which one? Because I was confused about which one, Sparkle? Which one? Was she told to go rub his head first, sit on his lap? Or was she was already at the studio and you just walked in and asked her, who brought you here? Because according to Sparkle, this was supposed to be her goddaddy. So if this was her goddaddy, then it shouldn't be no problem with her at the studio then, right? She's at the studio, ripping and running around it. The set in the Kelly lab. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. You make it make sense to me. Shit. Make it make sense to me. Which way was it with hey trans? Which one was it? What's going on, TJ? I noticed Drea never said he did anything. No, she never did. Not at all. She only said what was done to her. That's just weird though. Which one was first? Was it God daddy first? Or was she not supposed to be in the studio? It's crazy. Moving along, she says that she felt so uncomfortable. But at the same token, she looked up to him. And as females, and I can't speak for all of them, you cannot mentally, because it's something the way that we are chemically designed, right? We are chemically built. And you ball all of this psychological thing up in your head, it won't allow us to do it. It just won't. And if you are doing it, you are fooling yourself. You are putting yourself into that position to become this specific type of liar. I don't know if it's impulsive or just, I don't know. But you set yourself up for it, right? When she sat here and said that, she felt uncomfortable. Then she comes back around and says, but at the same token, I looked up to him. You looked up to him on the simple strength because of what Auntie Sparkle made you do, and you felt obliged to have that much respect to continue to say, to put yourself in a position to be uncomfortable. That's the weirdest shit ever. Once we become uncomfortable by human nature, right? By human nature, the body soon starts to reject. The mind starts to reject, meaning that anything you say, it'll start to agitate you. You start making funny faces, and next you might cuss, or you might act this person, or if a person tell you, meet me at the studio. Yeah, I get there when I get there. You understand? It responds once you have finally gotten to the level of being uncomfortable. Okay, it's just the way we are designed. It just happens that way. Mythology or some more scientifical research or whatever may have figured it out, but God damn it, I can't explain it down to you to the common denominator about it. It's like you just know when you go through it or whatever. You just kind of know. You just kind of know. That's all. So when she was going through, she said that she felt uncomfortable. But at the same token, meaning that there's an interjection in there, it's what, in my opinion, she's saying, I know, but I don't know. I know enough to not share with you the truth. You understand what I'm saying? But I know how to make up an excuse to make this look and sound good. Am I making sense to you guys? Because this is what this interjection is all about. Knowing how to do it one way and having a different outcome of the other way, a different outlook of it from the other way. But that's her story to tell. She just kind of went along with things. And there you have it. I just kind of went along with things, knowing that I probably know better, to do better, knowing that I'm going to make up half of this shit, but it sounds good to the people. That's all. I just kind of went along with these things. I didn't give a shit who I was hurting, how I may hurt it, who I may send to jail, who I may not send to jail, who I may talk to tomorrow, who I may not. I just kind of went along with these things. I don't care. Which one said that they got flew out just to not expect to get? I don't know. I ain't got that far down. Let me see who said that one. Oh, wait a minute. That might have been Nia, I think. I think that might have been Nia, girl. I think that was Nia. Okay, we almost done, y'all, because I actually have fun. That, highlighting is a perfect way, because I got some green going on, some blue, some whatever, right? And each color means something to me, whether if this is an important point or if I want to make, a little humor out of this point and et cetera, right? Yeah, so my paper got a bunch of colors pretty much all over it, but let's go to the nature and the circumstances of the offense. Okay, let's do that one. Let's do that one right quick. Oh, geez, this is, the paperwork can be crazy. Don't mind my title, you guys, because when I was putting the title in, yeah, my elbow, hit the button, so it started the live. So I got to go back and edit my title. That is not the title of this live today. It's not the title. So I will be going back and changing that, but nothing I could do once the show, it had done already went live. And I was like, God damn it, I ain't even finished putting my title in there, but my elbow hit the button. So sorry about the title, you guys, but I am glad to see that you guys decided to join the chat. So shout out to you guys while I hand back my rebuttal to Drunkin Larry, who left a memo somewhere out there. And unfortunately, it got back to me and I just wanted to respond to it. That's it. That's all. Let's look at the application of the sentencing factors, the nature and the circumstances of the offense. The first one that I came across that I did highlight was Kelly took advantage of Jane, Pauline, and Nia. It's like they're closing arguments somewhat during a time when they should have been enjoying their high school years. Decades later, the effects of the abuse remain with each of them. Decades of the abuse. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there because I have to come to the chat for this one because they said decades later. Who brought back decades later of abuse on these young ladies? Who did so? Who did it? You should have a quick, fast answer right now. Who brought back decades of these effects that could have, may well have, affect these young ladies from now until the rest of their lives? Your title not gonna stop. Oh, D, that's what's up. That's what's up, D. Yeah. They got the audacity to sit here and try to sell the fact that decades later, the effects of the abuse remains with each of them. Now, what would be a messed up thing to look at if, thank you to be blessed, yes, the government. The government did this to these people. You all did this. You all opened up a glass door that these young ladies pretty much, I'm pretty, sure that some of them been healed, healing. It's so many forms of ways of healing. So I'd rather not get into that, right? But they opened the door for this, for these girls to put themselves back into a position to revisit, rehash some things that had already had closure to it, and they had already moved on with their lives. So if anything mentally happens from these girls from today and moving forward, it's the government's fault. You guys decided to exploit this, the government did, to a level that came out so demonic on one man out here. Yeah, that glass shattered because Judge Lennon Weber shattered their glass. What was the court? What was this? What's today? Is Sunday, Monday, Friday, Thursday, when it went down for the sentencing. As bad as they wanted this to hit Mr. Kelly consecutively, Lennon Weber said, no, I'm going to have to shatter your glasses. So now you have it where they may have a reason or an excuse to now blame this on Judge Lennon Weber when all he was doing was his job. Because the American way that we live in now, people are never satisfied until you point the finger to blame somebody. But you guys opened this up. You said that decades later, the effect of the abuse remained with each them. They cannot and will never be able to escape Kelly's exploitation of them. Now, here we got to bring Judge Lennon Weber into this again. Because if they think that Judge Lennon Weber has not ever came across possible a similar trial like this one, and he saw a numerous amount of, let's just call them alleged victims or whatever, succeed after they left his courtroom, or finished off for having families and wonderful careers and gardeners and librarians and laughing and traveling and cruising, then these prosecutors got another thing coming. In other words, Judge Lennon Weber, in my opinion, stuck those years inside that bubble to be popped by Jennifer Bonjean, because he as well knew that this right here can be sold as a can of manure, malarkey. You're not going to sit here in my courtroom and try to express to me that they will never be able to heal, because in order to imply something like that means that a person is dead, and they're not dead. All they have to do, and Judge Linda Weber probably had to talk to them, is just believe, have some faith, go ahead on and walk and hold your head up and move on, because they still alive, they still here to do everything possible, even through whatever they call torment. You're still able to turn it around and to go do things. To my understanding, RL had a baby. Got some of them, like one of them is married. Is it Pauline or Nia, married, new all this stuff is happening. That's good stuff. But the prosecutors went to Judge Lennon Weber to try to convince him that they cannot and will never be able to escape Kelly's exploitation. And I'm pretty sure Judge Lennon Weber probably asked, well, when was the last time he talked to Nia? Well, when was the last time he heard from a Pauline? Well, how could you state that to be factual? I'm just saying. At trial, at each of these women faced Kelly and relived. This is okay. Let's make sure that we know how to decipher between the lady's words or what the prosecution is feeling. Put a one in the chat if y'all know. You all know how to do that, right? Because we're going to move along either way. See, what they're writing is how they're feeling. This is what the prosecution wants for their outcome of something that never happened to them. So I'd have been take this out here. I'd have said I'd have been sitting there with Judge Weber said, hold up, I need a sidebar. Y'all approach the bench. Who is this story for? You or them? Because it sounds like you telling it for you on how you feel, on how you want something done based on something that you might have been through or whatever. But I'm bound to believe that this is not these people, Pauline or Jane or Nia's story. Uh-uh. This is y'all's story. It's at trial. It's crazy. When you get in here, they cannot and they will never be able to escape his exploitation of them. At trial, each of these women, they had to face Kelly and they had to relive the horrible things that he did to them, describing in details Kelly's sexual abuse to the jury. I'm like, oh my God. You said they ain't gonna go through nothing. They're living their best lives. And if they took something like in this here to Judge Lennon Weber, and he's a fair judge from what I'm hearing out here on the curb, what if he goes and pulls up their stuff? What if he happens to go and order insurance security on them or inspection or this is following it, and then report back to them with all these goddamn pictures? What tomorrow Nia and family is over in Walt Disney World just kicking and having fun? Well, that's part of admitting yourself back into society to continue on with the best of your life. Yeah, they make it seem as if TJ, that these women are just gonna go sit on the couch, mope along all day, not talk to nobody. They're not going to remember how to dial out on the phone. They're not going to remember how to go shopping, get their underwear and new clothing. You know, they ain't going to be able to take their kids to school. RL is going to get up every single day once her child hits grade school or kindergarten, because that's the most happiest days of our time. We finally got the baby out the house after 5 years. Hurry up and get your Mickey Mouse backpack and get the that's living your best life. You know, you can get up and get your new baby off to the first day of kindergarten. Shoot, that's fun. That brings on smiles. You taking pictures. You're doing exactly what everybody else is doing in society or has done in society, waiting on that moment to live live your best life, bring your best smiles and everything. Yeah. So let's go down to one more, two. I think I got one more. Let me see, one more highlight. Then, yeah, I'll finish the rest up probably sometime through the week. I got an early schedule, so I'll be home a little early next week, y'all. Kelly abuse of a 14-year-old Jan was sadistic. He urinated on Jan's face, vagina, and anus. So in those videos, Kelly had directed Jane to engage in the oral sex and non-penetrative sex with him. Do you know how many times I think that I've heard them really reiterate about Mr. Kelly and non-penetrative sex? Everything was about other different kind of contact, oral, or him masturbating himself. That's against the law, I guess. I don't know when. And I don't know who passed that. The whole damn world out here allegedly, when you're feeling yourself, masturbate yourself. Cat William told you, you better know how your strokes. He told you all the time, know your strokes. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's crazy. But throughout this paperwork, this is what they talk about pretty much, to me, in my opinion, mostly on how Mr. Kelly has always end up in basically somewhat of a oral sex. Nothing, hey, dip, dip, nothing of any non-penetrative sexual activity was allowed. One of the main questions that a lot of us was asking when we were hearing about this situation was, where's all these babies? We only saw 3. Mr. Kelly should be loaded with damn near what? About 50 kids. At least 50. At least 50, y'all. So he was doing something right. One thing for sure, 2 things for certain, he ain't out here with a boatleg of child support. And I'm sure Judge Leonard Webber, you might want to write that question down. You might want to write that question down. Why? How? How the hell did he get by with all these allegations on he did so much and so much to not have any babies outside? And Drea Kelly felt very confident about talking about that. And I had baby number 1. Shonda Landfair was it comes. I had baby number 2. Shonda Landfair is still there. I had baby number 3. We were traveling on the bus. Well, if you was traveling on the bus, then where the heck was she? Because you was the one having the babies. Someone weird about that. And I truly do think, back to you, Drunkin Larry, that Judge Leonard Webber really took time, read the paperwork, highlighted all of these okey dokes that was put in there. I'm gonna call them okey dokes. And because, he's ran trial probably several times of something similar to this. And one thing that the law does state is that every man should have his due process, right? In the court of law. Every man should be found innocent before, guilty. But he is aware that this is how they brought him up in these court buildings. Guilty, 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 guilty. They jump to the gun. And a judge is going to definitely want to know, what was the rush? Why jump to the gun on this? What's going on? But then to be hearing so many similar stories and have the same similar people from something that they probably already raised their hand under oath on. I don't know, Drunkin Larry. I don't know. But I think that if you guys are that concerned for Rashonda Landfair, to have a better life and a great life and stuff. It's a lot of you guys over there, and including you, you guys can really, really, really just send her $5,000 a month. All of y'all get together. Now you got to keep in mind, she gonna come up and half of y'all gonna go down. Half of y'all gonna go down. Half of y'all ain't gonna be able to do all those finer things in life that you like to do. That's all I'm saying. But I get it. It's easy to exploit someone, but it's not that damn easy to be sticking your head out to take care of them for the rest of your freaking lives, like Jim Derogatis did, correct? Correct, though. He made sure he gonna keep them plates on his dinner table, probably with a little bit of gold rim around it, no telling what he made with those books over there. So if you ask me, at the end of the day, there is a level to the game where our black on black got to stick together. Because they say, and they'll tell you, and no offense to my white people, but we have some of those white people, they don't give a damn. They just want a story to tell about your ass, period. Jim Derogatis, prime example. He went and sold that story around the goddamn world. He was such a proud man sitting up there talking about how the black girl and the black girl. Nobody cared about the black girl. Jim Derogatis had plenty and ample amount of time, especially being in the Chicago area, whether it was rural or city. Ample of time to have his name stamped in a concrete building about what he did for the black girls. But ain't nothing in Chicago that I found of nothing. No Boys and Girls Club. Hell, I don't know, is he even donated and hundreds and hundreds of maxi pads to these young girls that starts their cycle earlier, to have that foundation. Take care of that so that the Black mother don't have to be worried about getting maxi pads because we short on money because we live in poverty, Jim Derrick Goddess. Take that off of the Black mother's hand. Do that. How many Black young girls have you now endorsed or put a college fund up for? I'll wait. I'll wait. See, there's more levels to this game. Jim Derrick Goddess. When you want to reach out and help the young Black girl nobody gave a damn about. No, you mean that somewhere in the system that their parents got lost to the game of raising a child. Maybe you meant to put it that way. I might have would have been able to accept that. But when you come out here and talk about nobody gave a damn, it wasn't nobody that birthed these children and brought them into the world. They were brought into this world by a mom and a dad. And usually that's where the failing starts, right there. So don't be out here trying to plant this seed as if it's a genocide, a problem with the Black culture. We can fix ours. We just got to get it together and sometimes stop opening up the door to the wrongful people that don't belong the fuck in it. That's the problem. Y'all know what? I enjoyed y'all tonight. I have spoke a lot longer than I anticipated. Go ahead and share some love to the channel. Share some love to the channel. I had some videos that I wanted to show, but it is now 9:47. Yeah, he should have sat his butt down with his big ass. And before I go, though, I got to throw my little comedy part into this, shits and giggles. And that's just the way it goes, So I did peep into the Catfish. I think that was Catfish or a Levi show. I don't know. And the Bookham showed up. And Drunk Larry was up there. This is all now the go along, get along game. And it is what the fuck it is. At first they was, and want to kill each other. Now they was this, now they that. We got a whole new goddamn go along, get along game. Now, mind you that these are the people that actually talked about people that was doing the go along, get along game. Now they are part of the go along, get along game. So Bookham pops up on this goddamn panel. As a matter of fact, I don't even know, but we're gonna hold that. And I was listening to him. Was Bookham over there trying to explain some shit about a goddamn video? And he was asked, well, how do you know? I think that was Robert Keeler or somebody, right? How do you know? Tell the truth and shame the devil, Bookham. You putting all of kaleidoscope collages together and implement you a story. Just tell the truth. You caught you two of them. He's so silly. Just tell the truth. I'm sitting up here like, I don't know how many of you guys literally heard his response. Thank you so much, Sir Miguel, for the hearts. I appreciate that. How many did you guys catch his? How many of y'all did y'all catch him? Did y'all catch him up there on that panel? Now, I'm going to say this before I go. Thank you, Dee, very much. Thank you, sweetheart. All those people on that panel, not saying that, it is because it's the go along, get along game. Man, they should have dropped that boy off that panel so fast. It didn't make no. I'm saying, what? What are you talking about? What is this your response? I gotta play it for y'all. Do y'all want to hear this shit? Put a one in the chat if y'all want to hear this shit. Y'all got to hear this goddamn response. If I get enough ones in the chat, I'm gonna play it for y'all. I'm gonna play it. This is that moment where you go like you put them on the Gong Show and you just hit gong. Like this was a gong moment. This was a gong moment. I'm trying to see if y'all want to hear this. I really do. I should have known your big head butt was gonna put a one in there. Okay, we need some more ones in the chat, and I'm gonna cue this up for y'all. I'm gonna cue this up, and then we gonna get on up out of here. I'm gonna cue it up. Okay, we get now. We get now. Look at Angel. Angel said, "Please." How you doing tonight, love? Okay, here we go. Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. All right, let's listen. Let's listen. Let's listen. Can I get a disclaimer in the chat? This is only being used for entertainment purpose only. There is nothing educational about this broadcast, or probably about 2-3 minutes of this live under the Fair Act 107 usage on the One Papoose show. We need this to show some shit. We need this, okay? All right, hold on a second. Let me find. Okay, hold on. Let me get some service. In queue. We're gonna press play. Hold on. Let me get it to the beginning.
Coerce.
Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Let's talk about in the videos in Chicago.
Listen to this.
Holly Calhoun and Reese. Then I'm gonna say this.
I'm rewinding it. Hold on. Okay.
This happened before the hotel.
Check it out.
They don't know how to get to the root of this here thing. This you can't start at the hotel because health supporters want to know how did she get to the hotel? Minor, baby minor.
Thank you, Shannon.
But the real Kel supporters know how she got there. And the real Kel supporters know how it transpired and before it got to the hotel.
Okay, now let's pause that right there. This boy says the real Hale supporters knows how she got there. The real R. Kelly supporters knows this. You can't make this shit up. Listen, y'all.
Know that nothing started.
My name is Jeannie Seconder.
Oh Lord, did my hand hit the button? It did. Sorry. Sorry.
Kel supporters know that nothing starts in the pre-beginning. It always starts at the early beginning.
Thank you.
And the thing of it is
that don't even
back and forth with them about that Sky Life, it'd be redundant because we already done expressed that and we already done showed that. So the thing is now is, and the question should be now is, why do they feel that he's a predator when the judge said that he's not?
Oh, Dana, we done went over all that. And
why they feel like he's a pedophile when a pedophile is someone who can't control themselves of dealing with somebody 12 and under.
And the judge said he's not. The doctor he spoke to said he's not. Bonjean said he's not. So what more? And the definition says he's not. So
right. Then I'm gonna say this. This will be the first time that you ever hear me say this. The New York trial was botched from within.
Pause.
They made sure Rob do not see the light of day. Or
the New York trial was boxed from within. Somebody please say something. Hasn't that been pretty much concisely what a lot of people kind of been saying already? Huh? Hey, did I miss something here? But the moment that it was introduced out here, especially by, and I get it, a lot of people don't like him, and that's fine. I don't know him to like him or to not like him. I only know what was said by him on YouTube. Wasn't Don Russell kind of telling people what was going on the inside of this thing, along with several other people? But every time you would say something, this guy here would come back and be ready to beat you up. Beat you every time because he has to be the person to say. This narrative has been out here amongst all of the people for quite some time now. Hello, D.
Trying to make sure. But I got faith that Bonjean going to come back on the appeal and expose a lot of stuff.
Really? You don't say.
Second thing is this right here about the videotapes in New York. It was a no sound video, but it had Holly Calhoun and Holly Calhoun and Reese.
Now let's pause that.
Or should I say
because he says it was a no sound videotape. Now, this is very important, so I need y'all to listen really good. It's a two-part question. First part, was he in the courtroom where they played the audio at? Yes or no? Y for yes, N for no. Y for yes, N for no. Was he in that courtroom when they played the audio? Now, some people probably in the chat that was there. What do y'all think? Shannon says no. No. Lizzie says no. Anybody else? Because I got a part 2 question. Anybody else? Anybody else? No, no, no. Part 2. Part 2 question. Who do you all know for a fact that was in that courtroom, possibly around the time during the trial when they played that audio and probably heard it for sure? Who was there? Who was there? He was outside. And that's where I'm getting at, TJ. Who do y'all, can you name 1 or 2 people that you know for a fact was there at that R. Kelly trials? Who do y'all know for a fact? Hello, to be blessed. So, how do you believe someone, Bora was there, okay. How do you believe someone telling you this story who wasn't there over someone who was there? How? How do you do it? Huh? So what you've just had demonstrated to you and Lola is hearsay. Third part, hearsay. He just demonstrated to you how easily it is for hearsay to play out, meaning that somebody told him, somebody told her, but yet then you actually have people that you know for a fact that was sitting up in there, but you cannot prove that he was up in there. You can prove about Sylvia and Lolo and Dottie and Bora. You can prove all those people, but Dennis Byron, but you can't prove that he was up in there. So you would ask yourself, like the person did on this live, well, how you know that? Because that person is probably aware that you weren't even there. Hearsay. I'm going to make myself sound good through what I've heard to portray or to make it seem as if my character was actually there. And this is him. But let's hear the rest of it. I just wanted to point that out to y'all.
And Holly Calhoun, not Reese. But it had Holly Calhoun for the nephew on there.
Now,
They saying
go
that
pause
Rob
it.
was directing them on what to do, even though Rob wasn't seen
You hear this shit?
in that depiction.
Now, let's
Then you
pause
had
that. Now, we just went over the fact of who was at that courtroom. Dennis, Sylvia, Dottie, Lolo, Bora Bora. Who did I miss? I got all them right. Sitting up in there listening to this audio. We had people in the chat that says, nope, I don't think that he was there. I don't think that they showed a video in court with people visually on any tape. Put a one in the chat if y'all, did they show any faces? Did they show any faces? Ed, you was there. Did they show any faces on these videotapes in this courtroom? Did they? Because if they didn't, then somebody needs to explain how in the hell does he know of these people that were on these videotapes? Because he says Calhoun. So did Sylvia and Dottie and Lolo, all these people, did they see the tape with Calhoun on it? Then how did he? How does he? When has he seen it? But I get it. You know, when you feel like telling some stuff on your guy, stuff that has not even been put into discovery for Mr. Kelly to even have no charges brought about him. But this man sits up here, not even a man, half and half, a sugar, a peppermint, and a starburst. Half and half. Yeah, he's a whole peppermint and starburst. I'm just saying, Elizabeth, I'm just saying, sweetheart, how can you sit out here in social media and blurt out indirectly or directly names of anybody on any video if Mr. Kelly has not ever been brought up on any charges? This is not of any discovery or for a grand jury to be looking at to indict, but yet then he blurts out this.
But it had Holly Calhoun and Reese on there, or should I say nephew? Had Holly Calhoun, not Reese. But it had Holly Calhoun for the nephew on there. And they said that
and he keeps repeating it. And keeps repeating it. Seriously.
Even though Rob wasn't seen in that.
You hear this shit?
Then you had one lengthy audio that they chopped up, and then you had a short audio. And what they did was they beat it into the juror's head. This is what's going on. This was going on.
They beat it into the juror.
Okay, well, let's talk about the videos in Chicago.
Okay, come on.
In Chicago had the same depiction,
and
they had another depiction that they put together, and they had some audio.
Right? Was he in the courtroom in Chicago?
But the audio was kind of brutal. But I will say that, but the audio was kind of brutal.
Listen, it was kind of brutal.
They kept saying the audio was from the original tape. Well, that couldn't have been a fact because the audio from the original, for the sound from the original tape didn't have no sound on it.
Oh, now it don't have no sound on it.
When Bonjean and them touched on the chain of custody, all of that got thrown out because Jane had said that was her on there. Now, here's the thing on appeal for Chicago. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that Jennifer Bonjean can touch on about Chicago and New York is that the government entice, induce,
Listen,
coerce all of their people to come and testify against Robert.
that's a damn.
And they used it by way of
He
their
said,
own.
well, he knows what Jennifer Bonjean is about to do at the appeals, and she's going to show how the government induce, entice, and coerce the ladies. Yeah, that's what Jennifer Bonjean is going to do. Yeah. I'm just saying, so he wasn't at the Chicago, did he even make it to the Chicago? So how does he know about the video or audio tapes in Chicago? Like, he did not hear or see anything firsthand himself, not at all. See, I can't speak on it. I wasn't in the courtroom. So I look like a goddamn fool sitting up here telling y'all about who was on what, or what I portray to have heard, because I didn't hear it on my own. And I'm definitely not going to come out here to repeat it unless the person that I do know was at the courtroom. I'm sitting up there right beside either a Sylvia or a Dottie or a Lolo or Bora Bora or Dennis Byron for them to say she's actually correct. I heard it. I can validate that. He don't have nobody to validate his shit, because ain't none of his people over there ever getting up going to a goddamn court thing. None of his people wants to be involved with other people that is actually, doing their due diligence to help, get information out to our county. No, they just gonna be over there stubborn and lost. I guess they gonna wait for that other old boy to do his stuff. I don't know.
In which you cannot do that, and you can't tamper with a witness. I don't care who you are, but that's against the Constitution. So, on that note, it goes into everybody got immunity and everybody got deals.
Duh.
Persona go from saying I love you, I'm sad that this happening, and then in 3 weeks, I hate him. Go ahead and I don't want to see him I don't want him to see the light of day. And the only thing that can make somebody turn like that is something that somebody never had, which is $14 million.
I think you got to look at everything in its totality.
Always do.
Okay, so when you look at everything in its totality, you also have to consider that it was an actual audio and video of her.
No.
Yes, it was.
No, I just broke it down to you what it was in New York
Came back.
and in Chicago.
Just came back in here, so I didn't hear it.
Okay. Yeah, I broke down everything in New York. It was a video, but it was a video of Holly and nephew and Azriel. I'm sorry. And
Damn.
Azriel.
And Azrael. I just want to know again, for somebody who wasn't there in that courtroom with all of them other ladies there listening to what's going on in court, how the hell can he determine that other than hearsay? I don't know. After I caught that little piece over there, I was like, you know what? If you don't get your butt off of this go along, get along toxic ass channel and mind your business. I went to go mind my business. y'all. The rest, I was like, I just, getting the good thing that you know how to turn it on and turn it off. That's just me. Listen here, y'all. I am out of here for real. I got to get up at 7 a.m. It's another work week, so I thank God for that. I'm still here to continue that on. I hope you guys enjoy the live tonight commentary. And like I say, you guys know why I came out tonight. And that's it, and that's all. Stay humble with it, because I'm a little tired, to be honest with you. I'm like, I'm a little tired, long weekend. Enjoying myself this weekend. So I had a blast helping my daughter. She's almost done. And that's pretty much it, you guys. So thanks for showing the love to the channel. And I appreciate it. all the time. And I do, you guys have no idea, because I'm still coming from the bottom. It's gonna take some while to get to the top, and I'm okay with that because I have a lot of patience with that. I guess now everybody's waiting to get these transcripts out so y'all can hear what happened at the ending of Illinois federal trial, and I guess y'all want to hear all of that. So, but I truly do thank you. I don't call the names out for the support, other than what you guys may see going up the channel. But for those people too that show the love to the channel that way, I thank you. And I am very, very appreciative for that. And I mean that with all of my heart. So again, be patient, because I ain't going nowhere. You just got to take a step back and recoup. So I got to recoup up, y'all. Other than that, y'all hit that like button, share this channel, and don't forget to get somebody that you know to somebody to subscribe to the channel, y'all. I'm out of here. Bye. You're welcome, Lizzie. Welcome.